Welcome to the day 2 of the 2020 Virtual High School Football Media Days. I'm your host and moderator, Jay Roberson. We welcome you to the Media Days. Day 1 was fabulous, ladies and gentlemen. We had 14 schools from Birmingham, Jefferson, and Shelby counties to join us. And today we've got 15 more schools to bring you with the best of high school sports in the Birmingham metropolitan area. At this time, it's truly a pleasure to be here. I have some safety tips for you from the Director of Athletics at Thompson High School, Coach Vincent Pitts, as we get ready for the big game this week.
Hi, Vincent Pitts here, Athletic Director at Thompson High School. We're excited to start our athletic events this week, and most importantly, we're excited to provide a safe and enjoyable experience for our fans. As you all well know, we're all under a certain number of mandates in the state of Alabama, so it will be required that our fans wear masks within our venues, and it also be required that everyone do their very best to social distance within our venues. Our goal is to provide as normal an experience as possible, and with everyone's help, we can do so as they follow the guidelines to wear a mask and social distance. Even though we're operating in a limited capacity, we feel like we can accomplish these goals with everyone's help. We also want to thank everyone for doing their part to follow the state mandates, and we look forward to continued competitions on our campus this season. Thanks, and go Warriors.
Thank you, Coach Vincent Pitts, Director of Athletics at Thompson High School, getting ready for the big game this weekend on Saturday against Oxford. Make sure you adhere to the mandates he's talked about in the state of Alabama. Wear your mask, keep your social distance, buy your electronic tickets now and early, and we'll see you in Alabaster, Alabama on Saturday. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to today's media that we're going to have covering today's Media Day. At this time from Fox 6, WBRC Fox 6, Christina Chambers is going to join us this morning. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm great. Good to see you this morning. Glad to have you here. Also, we have Robert Carter from the Birmingham Watch.
Good morning, everyone. How are we doing?
Good morning, Robert. How are you this morning?
I'll let you know when I wake up.
He is waking up, ladies and gentlemen. Also, we have Seth Holloway from Cutoff News. Seth, how are you this morning?
Hey, Jay. Hey, hello, everybody.
Good to see you, and thank you for being here. We've got other media going to join us. Simone Eli from CBS 42. We also have Kyle Parmley from Starnes Media that's going to join us, along with others that will join us. Jeff Spiegel, ABC 3340 here shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff is here.
Hey.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Jeff. How are you this morning?
Great. How are you guys?
Good. Glad to join us. Glad that you're able to make it with us this morning. Well, guys, we're going to kick this thing off today with historic A.H. Parker High School in downtown Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama. I've got the head coach of Parker High School. A little nugget about this coach here. His uncle was Frank Warren, who played in the NFL with the Seattle Seahawks and New Orleans Saints. Phillips High School graduate from back in the day, and God bless his soul. But his nephew is now the head coach at A.H. Parker High School, Coach Frank Warren. Good morning to you.
Good morning. I'm glad to be a part of this and get excited for the season.
We're glad to have you here, Coach. And we have our media here with us, Jeff Spiegel, Christina Chambers, Robert Carter, Seth Holloway. Who wants to jump this off with questions for Coach Warren this morning?
I'll jump in here before we get to X's and O's and so forth. Coach, you picked an interesting year to be your first year at Parker. What are some of the more unusual things that you've had to do in the run-up to this season to deal with the COVID-19 situation and keeping your kids healthy on and off the field?
Well, I got hired in February, so I had a little chance to meet with my guys and work out with them. But fortunately, we got closed down in March, and I had to set up Zoom meeting with my kids. I had scheduled one every week. It was just so different, not knowing what we do. But when June hit, we hit the ground running. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I cleaned so much. I ain't never cleaned as much in my life. So, but it taught me a lot, keeping these kids safe and trying to play football, get these kids back to normalcy. But things, it changed a lot. It changed a lot about how I look at life and football right now. But these kids want it, and I want them to play.
Speaking of your kids, let me ask them, first of all, if you let us know, let the viewers know who you've got with you there in the studio today.
Well, to my far right, I got Richard Williams, my running back and linebacker. And next to me, I have DeMarcus Smith, one of the top players in the state. This Friday, he will announce between 4 schools, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Kansas, 5 South Carolina, Kansas, Tennessee, and Mississippi State. So we have one of the best prospects slept on here right now. So I can't wait till you announce that decision.
Well, first of all, congratulations on that. Now let me direct this to both of you guys. What's some of the more unusual things that you've had to do in practice to avoid COVID-19?
Well, now because of COVID, when we're at practice doing breaks, we got to spread out when we taking breaks. Everyone, instead of us drinking out of a cooler, we got to get a bottle of water. We all got to spread out. It's different now because of COVID.
It's different because like when we in the weight room, we have to wear a mask. It'd be hard to breathe sometimes.
That's all you got.
Any questions from other media?
Yeah, I would like to ask the players just, you start to see, there's been a lot of games moved or canceled this week and it's opening week. Just what are your thoughts just on, I guess, the uncertainty of the season as, we take it, I guess you have to take it week by week because you just don't know what, the next week's going to bring.
For us, it's like I don't know how to put it, but it's not as good as it sounds. Like we really want to play, and like you never know what week or what game is going to be canceled because of COVID, and it's not good.
This is my last year, so I don't know how many games I will be able to play. It's just gonna be hard, but I'm grateful for every game we do get to play.
Hey, Coach, the first 9 weeks, do I have this correct? The kids are not in school, right?
Yes, sir. We don't start school to September the 8th. So,
Okay, but it's the first 9 weeks online for them?
Yeah, the first 9 we would be online. We start September the 8th. So it'll be kind of like, different type of schedules on game days and practices, but we getting used to it now. I'm setting it up, but it's probably, I don't know how long it will last. Yeah.
Well, we were talking with Coach Isaac about this yesterday, and he talked about the difficulty of not being able to see his kids on game day, kind of pump them up a little bit and all that, not having that in-person contact. How difficult do you think that is going to be in terms of, game day preparations and all of that?
It'll be different. My plan is to get them guys up at Friday early on game days so I can see them, get them out to bed. A lot of kids these days like to sleep late, stay up late, but I'm gonna make them get up here early, feed them breakfast, watch a movie in the fair house, and just lounge around till game time so I can keep my eyes on them and let them know what they're doing. But like you said, this is gonna be different. My first year, so I'm gonna remember this year for years to come.
Hey, Coach, last year, 5-5 season, first round of the playoffs, you being the new head coach, what are we going to see as far as schematic change on the field? Can you elaborate a little bit more on that without giving up too much of your strategy?
We might run a little wing tee. I'm just playing, but little stuff thing, you want to put your own little mix to it. I was actually offensive coordinator last year, so I know these guys, some of the stuff might change on offense and defense. My defense coordinator, Tyrone King, that actually played at Alabama. So we're just trying to mix some stuff up, give them a different look. And I'm glad the kids got a taste of the playoffs. Since we got a taste of it, I feel like we can make it and make some noise, and it's just up to us. My motto is fear the herd. By that, we're not going to get any game fearing anybody. I feel like we can get any game anywhere. So that's my motto to the kids. I respect all my opponents, don't get me wrong, but my thing is I fear no one.
Who's going to be under center for you this year?
Chris Williams, 6'4" kid. There's a battle between him and a kid named Will Shelton, a junior, but right now, Chris Williams.
Tell us a little bit about your running back over there and your other in his scheme and things.
I got a couple. I got a stable running backs. I played running back myself at high school and college, so that's something I pride myself on. Richard, one of my running backs, Will Elam, He's a pretty good athlete in the state. Khalif Keith is one of my other ones, and Warren Minifield. So I got 4. So you know what time it is. We run that ball.
I take it we're going to see more on the ground than in the air then.
Well, hopefully. A lot of teams that played in the state championship last year, you got to stop the run. They was a running team, and the run ground could travel anywhere, cold, rain, any weather. So that's my motto, man, to be a sound team on the ground.
What about the defense? It looks like y'all gave up some pretty big points in some games last year. Any changes on the defense?
Yeah, it's a whole big change. The guys know what I tell them every day. I want my defense flying around, flying to the ball. That's something I emphasize on. I got some of my best studs on the defense. And it's just pride on defense. You know, they don't care. We just line up and play and get into the ball. They don't care if you're wrong. If everybody let them get into the ball, then you're going to make yourself right. You know what I'm saying? But getting the lined up in assignment, that was kind of some of the bad stuff we did last year, not getting lined up right. And, you know, we fixed that, keep it simplified, and playing fast on defense.
Any big stars on that defense you want to name?
DeMarcus Smith, right next to me. I got Will Elam, he's my star cornerback, and Richard Williams, linebacker, and Khalif Keith, he's a sophomore. He's probably going to be one of the best players in the state coming up on his senior year. Remember that name. But the guy next to me, one of the top DNs in the state, and I put my money on any one of these kids. Not money, but you know, I put the house on.
DeMarcus, what's changed this year from last year for you guys to get further in the playoffs?
Well, I'd say our style of play is gonna be very different this year. How we play and different techniques and stuff like that. It's gonna be very different this year.
Hey, Coach, a lot of teams have had some early schedule changes because of the COVID-19 considerations. Any late changes for your team?
No, we're still on schedule. We scheduled to go down to Tuscaloosa to play with American Christian Academy, #1 team in 4A. And so I talked to another day. We're still on schedule. You know, it's kind of nervous when you get a call, you know, but we like, hey, we're good, and just we're still on schedule for Friday. And I put my team one of the top schedules in the state for 5A. So it's gonna be a good test playing a great team like ACA and what they got going on.
Coach, in your region, you've got some tough opponents. What's a battle that you look forward to every year, or this year? Or actually, better question for the boys: what's your favorite rivalry every year for the players?
Hi, Coach. How are you? I'm doing good. So I'm going
A game I look forward to playing is the Rams game. I look very forward to playing that game.
The game I'm looking forward to is Pleasant Grove. Because I didn't get to play last year. So trying to show out.
Well, we got a little technical difficulty there. Parker, you still there? I've got a little echo coming back. That happens in the virtual world, ladies and gentlemen. So, hey, that's our technology. We've all been on various meetings and things happen. So if you will, DeMarcus, can you give us your rivalry again? Was that Ramsey High School?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, that's the big rivalry. Okay. And then there was another comment I think that was made by you, Richard.
Yes, sir.
Can you repeat that for us?
Pleasant Grove.
Okay, Pleasant Grove, Ramsey. Okay, two big rivalries for us. Any more questions from the media at this time? We got about 1 minute left with A.H. Parker High School. Well, thank you so much to the Parker High School Thunder and Herd. It sounds like they're going to run the ball this year. The Herd will be on the ground with a herd of Buffaloes at Parker High School making it work. And, hey, Coach, it's glad to see you there at downtown Birmingham at the great historic Parker High School. To DeMarcus and Richard, y'all have a great season. Stay safe, and we look forward to keeping up with the Parker High School Thunder and Herd this year. Good luck this season.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate having us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, coming up next, we'll have the Pleasant Grove Spartans. Parker said that's a rivalry for them. It'll be coming up here shortly with Coach Darryl LeBeau and the Spartans. Stay tuned for more on the 2020 Virtual High School Football Media Days. Welcome back to day 2 of the 2020 virtual high school football media days. My name is Jay Roberson, your host and moderator. We've got team number 2 coming up right now, Pleasant Grove Spartans and head coach Daryl LeBeau. Coach LeBeau, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good to see you this morning. You're looking very well and well represented with the Spartans on. I like that cap, by the way.
Hey, appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us for media days. We have other media joining us, Jeff Spiegel from ABC 3340.
Yes, sir.
Coach.
Hey, what's going on?
We got Christina Chambers from Fox 6. You're muted, Christina.
Sorry. Good morning, Coach.
There you go. Robert Carter from the Birmingham Watch.
Good morning, Coach. They've tried to mute me, but it hasn't worked yet.
Yeah, you can't mute Robert, by the way. Seth Holloway, we have from the Cutoff News. How you doing, Seth?
Hey, Coach. Hey, Jay. How you doing?
Hey.
We got Coach LeBeau on media. It's your turn now to ask about the Pleasant Grove. Who wants to kick this thing off?
Coach, we'll get to the X's and O's in a moment and talk a little bit about last year's historic season for the Spartans. But first, of course, we're dealing with a season like no other with COVID-19 and all the things that you're having to do to keep your players and staff safe. What are some of the more unusual things that you've had to do to make this workable?
I guess for the most part for us, having the just about 80% of the summer workouts with the varsity locker room shut down and not being able to allow the boys to go in and finding unique and creative ways to make sure we keep the boys safe, whether that's, how we check them in and test them, being able to make sure that they're coming in on time and having to do staggered times with getting them in and being creative in how we work out and how many we put in the weight room versus being able to just put the whole offense in there or the whole defense. But I can tell you this, though, I think with the way that it was done this year, I think it may be something that I'll do in the future, once and hopefully, things get back to some type of normalcy. And we can do it, the way that we've done it in the past. We've been able to get a lot of quality work because we've been able to break down and have smaller groups and be able to concentrate on a lot of different positions, a lot of different younger kids that we wouldn't have that opportunity to do so during the summer. So, just trying to take some of that positive light out of it, out of all the things that's going on and create some good with the challenges that we've been faced with.
Speaking of things that you've done in the past, last year, of course, going all the way to the Super 7, falling just short. What do you have in store for a follow-up this year?
Hopefully we can go up to North Jackson and play some good ball and try to clean up some things and make sure we playing just quality ball 1 week at a time. We have a lot of tough challenges coming up this year. We have a pretty tough schedule ahead of us, but we definitely don't want to look past anybody and want to just basically take it 1 week at a time. And especially with, how things are working now, we only take it 1 rep at a time, 1 play at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 game at a time. So that's kind of always been our way of facing things. And if we take care of what we do here at Pleasant Grove and play Pleasant Grove brand of football, we'll be fine.
Coach, it seems like a lot of teams this year, there's been games canceled just this week. And, it's kind of devastating for teams who think they're going to open the season, especially for the players. Every time you get a phone call from one of your team's opponents you're supposed to play, is it nerve-wracking? just knowing that you don't know what's going to be said on the other end?
It definitely is. You kind of like, all right, Coach, are we going to play? You sure? So, you just don't know. It's just an uncertainty. And I think that's the scariest part, not knowing what can happen, what that phone call is going to be about. Coach may be calling and say, all right, Coach, you're going to park over here. But before you hear that he says that or hear him say that, you don't know. So I guess that's the biggest thing is the uncertainty from week to week, how you're going to approach it. And, even with your own kids and your own coaches and your own staff members, you have to be prepared for it all. And I guess that's the beauty of coaching, having to coach through a situation like this. That's the first of its kind. And to say that you actually made it through, I think that's another big game win, for all of us.
How do you keep your team, I guess pumped up, knowing that, hey, you could get a call Thursday and find out you're not playing tomorrow? I mean, how do you keep your team motivated in situations like that?
And just get them to understand, my college coach have always preached. I played underneath Wade Streeter at Miles College, and he preached every day. Your next play has to be your best play. Especially with the seniors, you don't get that rep back. You don't know what's going to happen or how it's going to happen. So we just focus on that day. And it's easy when you finish the way that we finished. You don't have to do much fussing about getting kids to work hard and get prepared for the next week. So with this and these challenges that we have here, just that one day approach, one day at a time. Put a good product on film, whether it's at practice or a game situation.
Daryl, every coach likes to have a teaching moment, that they can build on, they can help preach to a team. What happened at the end of the game last year? What teaching moment did that provide you?
The biggest thing that, I think the first words that I said to my guys when we got inside the locker room was, we have to be blessed and grateful for the opportunity anyway. In the way that it ended, we can't control that. I mean, we only control the things that we can control. But the biggest teaching moment is that half a yard that you forgot to go back and touch that line on, or we had to tell you to run through the line, or Ahmed to start practice on. Those things add up. Those things add up. So the biggest thing is continue on pushing forward and to gain that 1 yard. And when we say 1 yard, it don't necessarily mean 1 yard in football. It could be that next yard in life. You never know. So we take those opportunities to be able to push them and get them to understand that, hey, it may didn't work out the way that you wanted to, but we got to continue on grinding and continue on working, and hopefully the outcome that we would like to have, no matter it's in football and in life, if we keep working and push to get that extra work that we need, maybe we'll accomplish some of those goals.
Hey, Coach, you lost Xavier Hill to Kennesaw State, correct? Is that's where he finally wound up?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Who's stepping in to fill his shoes? He was a big offensive weapon for you. Is Brandon Coleman or who? One of the other guys stepping in to fill those shoes?
Man, I don't know if you can feel it. He did so much for us. But we have some young guys. We have Braden Coleman that's got an opportunity to play a lot of minutes last year. Kerry Bester, Jamarion Furlow is still here. So excited about a healthy Jamarion. Last year we didn't really get him back healthy to second, third round. He missed the whole month with a groin issue. So we got a healthy Furlow back, so we're definitely excited about that. And we have a couple other kids that's stepping up. Some younger guys get us, but at this point, to replace a guy like Hill, you're going to have to do it by committee. I don't think one guy can replace what he did. You don't get kids like that every year. He definitely was a special kid. He came by the other day and came home from workouts, and he looked like he didn't got taller. I said, "How much you weigh?" He's like 207. I said, "Man, you're gonna be playing safety if you don't watch out." But he's looking good, and he was an enjoy to have.
Is Perriman still under center for you this year?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's looking good. He's worked hard this summer. Worked out with Coach Ben with quarterback country in the off time and put in the extra work. And I think it's paying off. Some of the recruiting process picked up from him over the summer. I told him hard work pays off. So definitely good to have a 3-year starter back there. So now with conversations on, whether he did anything wrong, it's more so what you should have did with that. When I first got here, it was more so of, hey, we should have did this and this. Now he can tell me, Coach, I should have did this. So that's exciting to have a guy back there, a leader back there that knows the offense and know what we want to do and how we want to do things.
Any more questions from the media for Daryl LeBeau?
Yeah. Is Christopher going to be your running back this year? Is he still there? I mean, he's still with you?
No, Tyler's gone. The guy that's at the helm right now is Markel Jordan. He kind of came in some that first Broward game. I think he scored 2 touchdowns. So he rotated in some last year. So Tyler.
That's right. Christopher graduated, right?
Yes, sir. I wish I did have him back. I sure take him if I can get an extra year with him.
How about Coach Christian Lewis, receiver coming up? I think he's a spectacular athlete. Your expectations for Christian this year?
Uh, to be Christian, I mean, you know what a lot of folks don't understand that with Christian, he works hard. He work hard. He work hard. He work hard. So the product that you guys see on Friday, we see that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You know, it's to the point with the kid. Like you have to tell him, hold back some. You know, not necessarily to hold back during practice, but like, hey, you know, we know what you're giving us. He's just one of those kids that love to practice and love the game, and he loved to compete. So we're excited to see the different challenges that he's going to face. Of course, you know, I know folks going to want to double team him and do all those different things, but I think he understands that, and he's looking forward to that challenge also. But you know, beyond just the football thing, man, Christian is an awesome kid. 3.67 GPA kid. You know, AP kid. So he's a very intelligent young man, and you know, I don't know if I'll ever get another Christian Lewis, because they're hard to come by. But as far as the quality of kid and quality of football player, he makes my job a whole lot easier.
Does he have any looks? Anybody looking at him right now, or any offers?
So Christian,
Yeah.
he's Christian verbal to Kentucky maybe a month ago. He was going to wait for his birthday, but he decided to go ahead and get it out the way. So he's verbally committed to the University of Kentucky right now.
Outstanding young man and great words, Coach, about Christian. And I know Z-Well, Perryman, and others there at Pleasant Grove. Any other questions from the media at this time for Coach LeBeau? Coach, I'm gonna tell you one thing. We just got off with Parker, and they said you're gonna be a rival for him. So I mean, just look at the schedule, and when you see Parker, Thunder and Herd, it's gonna be a good one. So
definitely,
Frank said he's ready for you.
Yeah, you know, that's I guess a family affair. So that's my cousin.
Yeah.
You know, when I first got into Pleasant Grove, he was my OC. So we're gonna see. We gonna see. It's a long ways away from us, man. But I know Frank, and I know what the type of guy he is. And you know, besides the fact of being family, man, he works hard. He's definitely I think Parker got them a quality coach that's gonna be able to do some quality things over there with that program. So I'm more excited to see what he's gonna do than I think he knows. So you know, when that time get there and that game get there, you know, we'll approach it as such. But man, I'm excited for him. I think he deserved this opportunity. I think he's going to do an awesome job with this opportunity over there at Parker, and I know the alum is going to be excited about him, and I know the kids are already excited. I know he's got a lot of the kids back out to play football this year, so you know that's always a plus, man. But I'm definitely excited to see what my cousin could do over there, and when we play, I guess that's week 7 or 8. We'll go from there.
Sounds good. There'll be a lot of purple on that field when Parker and Pleasant Grove get place against head-to-head there in that battle. Well, thank you so much, Coach Darryl LeBeau, the head coach of Pleasant Grove, and thank you to the media for the questions. Good luck this season to the Spartans, and we appreciate you being on with us today.
I appreciate you. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Carver Rams. G.W. Carver High School, Birmingham City School will be on next. And looking forward to talking about the Rams and the upcoming 2020 football season. Stay tuned for 2020 Virtual High School Football Media Days. Welcome back to the 2020 Virtual High School Football Media Days. It's been a doozy so far with the high schools we've talked to, Parker High School, Pleasant Grove, and now we got coming up next Carver High School and Coach Darren Fagan. Coach, how are you doing, the Carver Rams? You there, Coach?
Man,
there
I'm
he
doing
is.
awesome.
Coach Fagan, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing
Good.
awesome.
Good. Had a little delay there, but we'll go ahead and get our media on and
I
see if we can.
couldn't feel
We'll have joining us now Jeff Spiegel
blessed.
from AB 3340.
Blessed to be here.
We have Coach.
It's been an awesome experience so far.
Okay, awesome, Coach. We're going to introduce the media to you right now, if you will. Give us 1 second. Christian Chambers for Fox 6.
Hey, Coach.
We got Robert Carter from Birmingham Watch, Seth Halloway from Playoff News, and we'll have other media joining us here shortly. Now, I think there might be a slight delay. Again, we're in the virtual world, ladies and gentlemen, and this happens. So it's a great picture there. Coach,
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Good. Well, we'll take questions now from the media.
Coach, this is a season like no other. You're having to deal with things that probably you never even considered going into a new season. What's some of the most unusual things you've had to do to make sure that your team and staff are safe from COVID-19? Coach, can you hear us? Jay, I think we're running into a little problem there with the coach.
All right. Looks like we got a little delay there on the technology with Coach. And what we'll do is see if we can get him on the phone and see if we can work some things out there. The Wi-Fi is off at the school. We just got word back on that. So we'll join back and we'll take a break and see if we get Carver High School back on. It's the virtual world, ladies and gentlemen. We've all been dealing with it for the past few months. It happens, but we'll be back with Carver High School here shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back live here to 2020 Virtual High School Football Media Day. We had a little technical difficulty with Carver High School, but it's virtual media. That's what happens when, things happen. So we're connected now with Coach Fagan and the Carver High School Rams. Are you there, Coach? Good to see you, Coach. I'm welcoming our media here today. We've got Jeff Spiegel from ABC 3340. We got Christina Chambers from WBRC Fox 6.
Morning, Coach.
How's it going?
Robert Carter from that great newspaper there, Birmingham Watch.
Which is actually online. But Isn't technology wonderful except when it doesn't work?
Exactly right. And then we have our good friend Seth Holloway from the Cutoff News. Other media will be joining us here throughout the day.
What's up, Seth? How you doing? Good to see you, man.
Coach Fagan, give me a shout out there, Seth.
Coach was at Bessemer City for a year or so.
Outstanding. Well, we're going to open this thing up for questions now for Coach and his players. Who wants to kick it off for us for the Carver Rams?
Coach, we're about to go into a season like no other with the specter of the COVID-19 pandemic looming over us. Obviously, you've had to make a lot of changes in your preparations for this season to keep your players and staff safe. What are some of the more unusual things that you've had to do in this preseason that you never thought you'd ever see on a football field or locker room before?
Just some of the details of the extra cleaning that goes along with it. And not only that, just you have to be more careful telling the players about what they do when they're not around the football team, because the way everything passes around, you just have to be extra careful. So you gotta do a good job of monitoring what they do when they're not on the football campus. That has been the main thing we have been trying to get our guys to understand. Like, be very careful in what you do after practice and when you're not around the school, because you can bring back a danger to the program.
Next question from the media.
Coach, starting in there, don't want to bring up last year. I know you're new, but it's 1-9 season. What's the bigger changes that you've made this year coming into the season to help Carver get back to the playoffs and maybe a championship?
Man, just the from a power aspect of what we do, what we're planning to do as a program. We've been more physical in the weight room from power exercises. We've implemented more sled push on the football field. Just from when you're not having success on the football fields, a lot of times it's just the little things like not wrapping up, not tackling properly, not be able to make the extra push to get extra yards. Those are the little things that we've kind of improved on to take into this football season.
Coach, you got who are your players with you here today?
Cam McKinney, Chad Tarver.
This is one of my top receivers right here, gonna make a lot of plays for us, and this is one of our returning seniors. Can play everything in the secondary, multiple. I've actually coached both of their brothers in the past, so they're just as talented or more talented than those players were. So we have a solid foundation to build on. Like I said, the 1-9 record really doesn't show some of the talent of the guys that are left. We just improved on some of the small things to get that extra push to make us successful this football season.
Cam, this question is for you over there. What's the changes coach has made this year? What have you seen different from previous seasons?
A lot of hard work in the weight room, more push on the field. Just going harder day by day.
And same question for you.
More commitment out of players. We hold each other accountable, and that's just something we kind of struggle with in the past few years that I've been here.
Being a senior, what position are you playing now exactly? Coach said a bunch of different positions, but what's your main one?
Strong safety.
Strong safety. So, Coach, who you got under center?
Right now we have two quarterbacks that are are going to be able to get under center for us. We got Jamarion Carter, and then we got Brian Mackey. Two kids that have both shown success in practice. It's just really just going to come down to this week and assessing what our opponent gives us from a defensive standpoint, and then putting the guy on the field that we feel can have the most success against our opponent and what they're going to do.
Coach, you're facing a totally different situation in who you play as you drop down to Class 5A. What are the good and the bad thing is that you're facing a pretty tough region in 5A. What are you expecting as you move to a different class and different region?
The expectations are still the same. I've been in 6A ball pretty much majority of my coaching career. So from 5A to 6A, the competition level is not that different. From the players that I have on this football team, it's nobody on the schedule that I could go into and say, the guys I'm taking on the field, I think we can win or be able to compete at a high level against anybody on the schedule. The 6A schedule last year was a tough region. Of course, I was at minor last year, so I knew some of the teams that we were facing in 6A over here and over there. But now when you're in with 5A, a lot more familiarity with the city school aspect. And then you have your couple of county teams like Pleasant Grove, and then you have a corner. So from a football assessment, I think we should fare very well from what we've done this summer.
Speaking of schedules, the COVID-19 situation has sometimes forced some last-minute schedule changes. Any changes in your schedule so far?
No changes so far. We've been pretty blessed to not have too many situations. We've been taking all the precautions on our end from a health standpoint, and I believe everybody else has been following the guidelines and doing everything they can. So no adjustments on our part from a scheduling standpoint. Everybody seems to be ready to go and trying to get this thing kicked off Friday.
For the players, too, here's a question for you guys. Moving into the 5A region, you've got Parker, you've got Winona, you've got Fairfield, you've got Pleasant Grove. Any of those teams that you guys have always wanted to play and look forward to playing this year for the first time?
Yeah, Pleasant Grove and Fairfield.
Maybe Ramsey.
Which one?
Pleasant Grove. Ramsey and Pleasant Grove.
Seems like Pleasant. We've had other teams say Pleasant Grove today too. Jay, it seems like Pleasant Grove has got a target on their back this year for some reason.
Coach LeBeau is going to have a couple teams coming after him this year,
and that comes with success. I mean, me and Coach LeBeau are good friends. So he knows, he understands. Hey, when you build a successful program, a lot of people, they want that smoke too. So. It's going to be a situation where, when you get on the field, a lot of teams have that game circle because, they're very, very talented. And from a competition standpoint, you want your guys to want to be able to compete on some of the top tier teams to show where their level is. So I could see everybody looking forward to that game.
Any other questions for Coach Fagan?
Yeah, for the players, you got a senior here and sophomore, correct, or junior? Cam?
I'm just not becoming a junior.
Okay. For the senior, you have any looks, any prospects? What's going on with your future?
Not necessarily looks, but I do plan on going to college after high school. Playing football, that's not something I really consider because, academically, that's one of my strongest suits. And
okay. Coach, you going to change his mind a little bit on that? Maybe get a scholarship?
Oh, absolutely. These guys know my previous history of my prowess in getting.
I do too. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, my top players recruited, and these guys are my top players. So some of my top players rather. So they'll definitely have some of the advantages that I brought to the table in my previous stops.
You do have a reputation for finding ways to get your players into college, Coach.
Hey, that's one of my strong suits, and it's something that we just develop because we try to prepare every player that's a part of this program. That's my goal, is for them to want to go play at the next level and get that higher education. That's the goal of the program. So we prepare you for that. So when a college coach turns on the film, that's what he's expecting. He's saying, okay, Coach Fagan, he's not going to put any product out there that's not going to be able to come to our school and play on the next level.
Any more questions for Coach Fagan and Carver Rams? I want to make one comment. Coach, your backdrop, the guys' uniforms, your vest that you have on, you are my number one pick for the best setup for Media Day out of all the schools. You're in a close running with midfield and the Patriots and Coach Isaac. So great look this morning.
Isaac, my guy too. I really appreciate it. The standard here has always been high. It's just my job to bring a different type of level to it, and that's my goal, and that's what we're gonna do this football season. And as long as I continue to be here, we're gonna keep having a high standard.
Outstanding, Coach. Outstanding, Coach, and thank you for your leadership. Thank you for the mentorship and the guidance you're giving those young men at Carver High School. And while we look forward to keeping up with Carver during the 2020 football season, at this time, we're going to take a break here. We got Corner High School coming up next and Coach Rusty Rouse. It's been great here on the 2020 Virtual High School Media Days. Day 2, more football for you. Stay tuned. Welcome back here to the 2020 Virtual High School Football Media Days. Don't forget, as you watch this on social media, use our hashtag HSFB Media Days 20. That's HSFB Media Days 20. If you're tweeting out, if you're on Facebook and Instagram and other social media platforms. At this time, we want to welcome in from Corner High School head coach Coach Rusty Rouse. Good morning to you, Coach.
Good morning, Jay. How you doing?
Good, great. How are the Yellow Jackets?
Doing great.
Glad to have you all on this morning. We have media from across the Birmingham metropolitan area joining us this morning. We got Robert Carter from Birmingham Watch.
Good morning, Coach. Long time no see. Welcome back to the Hilltop.
Seth Holloway from the Cutoff News.
Hey, Coach, how you doing over in Corner?
Doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I was out at Saree a couple of weeks ago.
Racing.
And Christina Chambers from Fox 6 and Jeff Spiegel had to go into morning meetings, but will be back joining us shortly. They may chime in during this process of the interview. So, guys, we're going to turn it over to the media now to ask Coach Rouse some questions and talk to his players.
Rusty, welcome back. Sorry we don't have a newspaper back up there anymore to cover you guys, but maybe you can make some news of your own. We'll get to the X's and O's in just a minute, but first, your first season at Corner as a head coach, you're coming into a season like no other with the COVID pandemic looming large over all of us. What are some of the more unusual things that you've had to do in the run up to this season to keep your players and staff safe?
Well, obviously, we have a trainer that does a great job with all the social distancing, the mask, the screening. We screen every kid before they come in, and just trying to keep kids separated. Where kids are wanting to be together, especially when they first got back in the summer. There was some difficulty. But again, with our trainers and our coaches and just trying to follow the proper protocols and just keep everybody safe.
Coach, tell us who you got with you there, your players.
Well, I've got Danny Deal and Joshua Myrick. Joshua Myrick is a two-time All-State linebacker, finalist for the 5A Lineman of the Year last year. He's a linebacker and running back. Danny Deal is an O-line, D-line guy. Both of them are tremendous leaders of our team. They'll have to play both ways, but they've done some really good things the last couple of years, and we're just leaning on them to lead this team.
Going both ways is not the least bit unusual at Corner, is it?
It's not, and really, it's gotten a little bit better the last couple of years. But it's you want your best players in, and so these guys are willing to do whatever it takes to help us win a ball game.
Yeah. Real quickly, schedule changes, if any. We know that the pandemic is thrown a monkey wrench into some of the scheduling with early games. Have you had any changes in your early? So first out of the gate for you is Mortimer Jordan.
Mortimer Jordan.
Yeah, you've never heard of them, have you?
Just a little bit. We know a lot about Mortimer Jordan. We know how well coached they are, and they've got really, really good, hard-nosed kids. A lot of our kids know their kids. So, and a lot of our coaches know their coaches. And again, we know how well coached they are. And it's definitely going to be a tremendous challenge for us. But we're excited about playing them.
For the players, what adjustments have you guys made from last year to this year with a new coach to get back to the playoffs?
We haven't really changed anything. We just kind of do what everybody tells us to and just go along with everything.
I mean, what's the biggest adjustments you've seen with a new coach?
Well, everything's kind of the same. We just picked up where we left off from last year. We're going to just try to get better every day.
Coach, who do you have on the
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I was just going to ask him who he's got under center this year.
Center? Our center's a junior. His name's Jarrett Partridge.
Okay, and who's your quarterback this year, Coach?
Colin Daniels. This will be his third year as a starter at quarterback. Tremendous athlete. Colin has started for us since his freshman year. And really what's neat about Colin is you just see every year he's developed into a better leader over there on that side. And, just seeing things here in the last few weeks, he's really grown into that role. And again, with the experience, it's been impressive to watch him work the last month. So,
is he more of a passing or running, or y'all going to be more passing or running this year?
Hopefully we can mix it up a little bit. The thing that we ask Colin to do is just be an athlete, and that's what he does. And so, what we've tried to do this last few weeks is just kind of take our personnel, what we've got, and kind of surround it with his strengths. And, he's going to be asked to run a little bit. He's going to be asked to throw it. So he's got some really good guys around him. We have a veteran offensive line. We've got 4 starters coming back up front, really led by Griffin Murphy. He's done a great job. And to be honest, we've got a couple of running backs that we're getting back. And that's the good thing about offense. We've had some guys, kind of grow into their role, and had a lot of experience. Had 7 returning starters really on offense and defense. So, again, that's kind of what we're leaning on is that senior leadership. We've got 20 seniors. So, having 20 seniors, that's probably the biggest class since I've been here that we've seen. And it's kind of a testament to our kids to just stay out, to be around. And so it's a special group. We tell them every day, it's a special group.
Coach, this is your first year as a head coach, but remind us of your history with corner.
Yeah, I've been at corner. This is going to be my 9th year, and I've been the defensive coordinator since I've been here. So a little bit of a change this summer, and but being able to know the kids and know the coaches, that's been an advantage for, let's say, the new guy or this new role. And when you got good surroundings, it obviously has made it a lot easier for me. So,
so you're the new guy, but you're not really the new guy because you've been around corner for quite some time. Did
Yes,
you
sir.
actually take over the head coaching role? I mean, fairly recently, because I got to be honest, the first I'd heard that you had moved up was when I got the list of teams for media days.
Yes, sir. It was. It's been about 3 weeks ago. So, and the thing about it is kind of a late move. But again, going back to our kids and our coaches, we've when the question was asked, there's really not been a lot of change. We miss some of the guys that have left, but proud for them. But having most of the guys back and having that strong leadership, we've really been able to take care of business. So it's been a good thing.
Yeah. And by the way, this was apparently one of the very first moves made by new corner principal, somebody that most of us know pretty well, former Gardendale and Mortimer Jordan baseball coach Pat Keaty.
He is pretty well known around this area.
Yep.
This is Jeff. You had anything?
Yeah, I was going to ask. Can you hear me, Coach?
Yes, sir.
Good. I was going to ask. So much of running a football team and a football camp is built on routine, and this is for you and both of the players to comment on if they want. How difficult is it to maintain a focus on that routine when this is such an unpredictable season with this virus going on?
Well, I'll answer, and then I'll let these guys kind of add on. What we saw what we saw in the spring with baseball and softball and track, these kids realize it's real and that, we're going to take precaution and we're going to do everything we've been asked to do. But we're going to take every day like it's your last one. It's almost kind of a playoff mentality. And so it really is easy to try to motivate kids every day. because they know. I mean, with so much uncertainty, whether it's at home or in the news or whatever, sometimes you don't know. But we try to preach every day that these kids come in and they do their job and they try to, do everything they can. So there is no regret. So y'all have anything you want to add?
Every day of practice, we just, we realize that we can't really worry about what's going to happen in the future if like footballs get canceled. We don't really have any control over that. So the coaches tell us every day not to worry about it and just to come to practice every day and just work like it's our last day, because it could be.
As of right now, we plan on playing August 28th, and I'm going to practice like we plan on playing August 28th.
Coach, this is for the players. Do you guys have any offers, any looks, anything going on with college right now?
I have a couple D3 roster spots from Birmingham Southern and Center in Kentucky, and a few other just like calls here and there. That's about it.
I've talked to a pretty good bit of coaches. I've talked to Birmingham Southern, Catholic school up in Washington, but not really any offers yet.
And also another question for the players real quick, and then I'll go on. Moving from Region 6 or Region 7, I believe, to Region 6, is there any new teams on the schedule that you guys have always wanted to play that you look forward to playing this year? Coach?
Well, it got cut off, but I heard you say something about new teams, and yes.
Yeah, you're in a new region, so are there any teams that the players or you are looking forward to playing this year that y'all haven't got to play in the previous years?
Well, there's really, it's full of a lot of tradition. I've been over and watched Alexandria play. I've seen Lincoln. I know Leeds. We've been over there. All those teams are very well coached. You've got Moody, Hayden's right here, and our next door neighbors who, we know those guys. The thing about it is it is exciting when you're playing good competition, and it really helps our team rise above. So I know we're just excited to be able to be in this region, and just really excited about competing with those teams.
Well, thank you so much to Coach Rusty Rouse and to the Corner Yellow Jackets. You all.
Jay, can I interrupt 1 second? I'll make this quick. Okay, guys, be honest with me. Who's the bigger rival, Jordan or Hayden?
You're going to get him in trouble, Robert.
Of course I am.
Of course, that's our job.
I was trying to get you off, Coach.
Okay, Jay, bail him out.
I'll bail him out. Well, hey, good luck to you guys, Coach Rouse, and to the players
Thank
there.
you, Jay, for doing this.
Look, hey, it's all about the kids, Coach, and all we've dealt with in the past few months. It's just a great opportunity to build morale for these young people. So glad that we could have you on, and great look today. I love the backdrop. I love everything you got going on there. Hey, guys, we're going to go right into Fairfield High School now. We have Fairfield on, and Coach Keon Hanley. Coach, how are you this morning?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. We have our media with us. I'm going to introduce them to you. We've got Robert Carter from Birmingham Watch, Seth Holloway from the Cutoff News, and Jeff Spiegel from ABC 3340. Glad to have you all on. It looks like you're working out in the weight room right now.
Yeah, we down here in the field house getting a little work in right now. They actually doing school work virtually, so
outstanding.
A couple of guys coming in this morning for us.
Well, thank you for making them available to us. I'm going to turn this over, Coach, to our media. Any questions for Coach Hanley at this time?
Hey, Coach, Robert Carter here. This is a season like no other. You're having to do things in the preseason that you probably never even thought of prior to this year. What's been some of the most unusual things that you've had to do to get ready for this season and keep your players and your staff safe?
The main thing is getting kids used to social distance. these guys are like brothers to each other. So, they enjoy being around each other. They like spending time together, but getting them to understand that, hey, we have to follow the rules. We have to maintain our distancing, temperature checks every day, verifying symptoms, being extra cautious, making sure that we're doing the laundry on a daily basis ourselves, disinfecting the locker rooms on a daily basis, um, just making sure that we're on top of our game, just doing things 2 and 3 times just to be sure.
Coach, who you got with you today?
To my left, I have Keon Hanley Jr., and to my right, I have Malachi Hope Bennett. Both are seniors here at Prep, and two of our leaders on the team.
For you, real quick, Malachi was a big player, big factor last year in your offense and in your game. What's anything changed this year coming up, or is it going to be kind of the same role for him?
His role is going to be the same. We know in double teams. We know that some teams are going to do things to try and game plan around him. So it is up to myself and my offensive staff, my offense coordinator, Coach Hudson, to do a great job of game planning and making sure that we move him around and we find mismatches in the defense.
And same question about Keon. I've seen him play. Both of them have been factors. What's Keon's big role this year?
Pretty much, he is going to be one of our vocal leaders on defense. He's kind of our quarterback. Well, he is our quarterback of defense. He's a guy that we can move around. He can wreak havoc, playing back down the hash, playing in the box. So, he has a lot of responsibility. Defense coordinator Coach Mills puts a lot of faith in him, and make sure that the other guys are lined up and that they're on top of their game.
Coach, you guys different region lineup this year. Briarwood Christians moved up to 6A, so you don't have to deal with them. Your entire region, except for Cordova, is all within the limits of Jefferson County. How do you like your prospects going into this revised region?
Going into this revised region, I have respect for every opponent that we play. I tell anybody when we turn on the film, whether it be on Friday nights after the game or Saturday morning, or when we meet on Sundays as a staff, we consider ourselves and we pride ourselves in our region as being like the SEC West. Like every week, you're going to be in a dogfight. It's going to be physical. And you have to mentally and physically prepare your body for it. And this region has been well represented in the state playoffs and in the Super 7 over the past 10 years. So it's an honor to be in this region. It's a load. It can be a stress at times, but that's what you get in the coaching for that game planning moment, to come up with that perfect scheme to win in games that people don't expect you to win.
Any more questions from the media at this time for Coach Hanley Jr. and Bennett?
Yeah. A couple of questions.
And just like that, his Wi-Fi goes down.
Yes, it's the virtual world we live in.
It can be virtually frustrating.
Yes.
Coach, I'll jump in. I'll jump in. I wanted to ask you and your players, so much of running a football team is built on routine. How difficult is it to maintain that focus on the routine when things are not routine in the real world?
I'm gonna let the guys chime in on this and see how they can handle the routine question. Start with Malachi, and then we'll move to Keon.
Routine, just follow the rules, just come in every day and just know what we have to do. get our players straight and just let them know what's going on and things like that.
Go ahead, Ken.
Um, it can be a little bit difficult, especially with the young guys, because you actually gotta teach them the plays and alignment and assignment, and then you can't really like be as explaining it because they're young, so you really gotta like baby step them into it and repeatedly do it routinely and consistently. So, but it's fun. It's fun.
Coach, y'all are virtual for the first 9 weeks of classes. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Players, how does doing your classwork in a virtual environment, how does that affect and we've mentioned the word routine before. How hard is it, I guess, to get in a routine of football when you're taking your classes online? Is it more difficult than seeing your teammates and other classmates in the hallways every day?
Yes, I say it's difficult. I didn't think it would be this difficult. I thought it would be fun.
Yeah, it's difficult. I like being in class right in front of the board, right off the computer. Hard.
Question, I got cut off, so I'm going to ask my question again. Coach, and for Holt and Keon, both Bennett and Keon, what's y'all's future prospects? Coach, you had a big signing last year with your big man going to Tennessee. So what's the plans for these guys right here?
Well, Malachi just dropped a big announcement about a week ago. 2 weeks.
I know, I saw it. I was waiting for him to say about it.
And, KJ has some schools interested in him as well. Of course, UAB, Middle Tennessee, Alabama State, and then I have some other kids that have some schools in them as well, some other seniors. The goal is hopefully to have a nice signing class of 7 or more seniors. That would be lovely to get at least 7 of those guys signed. They put in a lot of work. Those guys have been with me now going into my 4th year, and they've really, really changed the culture of this program. So with the transition that they've had, I think they would do an outstanding job playing at the next level. Some guys like that are not known names like Jay Sean Dukes, who's our Mike linebacker, DeJarian Fox, who's a running back, and Travis Pearson, who's one of our defensive backs. Those guys are really, really going to surprise some people, and I think they'll be outstanding Division I prospects at the next level.
Coach, about your unsung hero, tell us about your kicking game.
Kicking game. So we actually have two young guys that have been doing an outstanding job. One is really stepped forward more than the other. He surprised me the other day. He kicked about a 40-yarder in practice.
Really?
So we're going to continue to work with him with his accuracy. But he's really passionate about the kicking game, and he really wants to be good at it. So it's something that he works on every day, and you can tell that he's working on it every day. So we're going to take pride in it. Don't be surprised if we in that 25-yard line going in red zone, you see me call field goal team and give them a shot.
Well, sometimes that's the winning and losing of the game right there.
And how important is that to how good does that make you feel to have that option in your back pocket?
It makes me feel a lot better. Of course, having a weapon like Malachi is easy for me to look at the offensive coordinator and say, go for it. But having a kid that you feel like as he's progressing, if the ball is at the right spot on the field, on the right hash, or in a certain position on the field, you're saying to yourself, you know what? He can make that. All right, let's get it blocked up and let's go for it. Let's go for the field goal right here. Let's get points on the board. That right there takes a lot of pressure off.
I was looking at the schedule last year. You lost to Jackson Olean by only 2 points, so a kicker would have made that game right there for you. So that leads me to my next question for Keon and Malachi. What's the one team you guys look forward to playing every year? What's your big rivalry, Keon? What's your big rivalry, Malachi?
J.O. Mine Pleasant Grove.
Pleasant Grove again. Everybody has said Pleasant Grove all day long.
That's great.
We got a J.O. and we got Pleasant Grove. So I think it's more so for Keon Jackson Nolan because when I was a student here at Fairfield, Jackson Nolan and Winona, those were the two teams that were very, very intense rivalries. Those were very, very physical games.
Any other questions for Fairfield from the media?
Yeah, Coach, with all this uncertainty with the virus, so you're really only a phone call away from maybe having one of your games canceled. There have been so many that have been canceled already. How difficult is it to kind of keep the players, focused on the day-to-day, or has it become easier because, they don't know what the next day holds?
Well, with these guys, I try not to dwell on the negative part of it. We are in the process of, as we call, being the change and choosing to be a champion. So in that process, we're focused on the work at hand. We know that we have to live right and do things on a daily basis. We have to wear our masks. We have to social distance properly. We have to clean up after ourselves the way we need to. We can't leave stuff laying around. We can't just go out and hang with a group of people that would and possibly put our brothers at risk. So the guys have really, really kind of bought into just being accountable for themselves and being responsible for themselves and limiting the amount of people that they're around. I think these guys probably hang out with each other more than anything, than any of the guys that I've had in the past 3 years. So they limit their circle and they intertwine with each other as far as playing the game online with each other and stuff like that. So I can hear them when I'm at home and Keon's online with them. So that lets me know that they're bonding with each other through the virtual process.
Any more questions from the media at this time? Couple nuggets right here. Malachi Bennett, you come from a lineage of great Bennetts that have played football in this community. And I know your family very well, Earl Bennett and others there. So you are right in line and doing some great things at the receiver position for Fairfield and for your future in college. So I'm proud of you and keep up the same great work. And to Keon Jr., sitting next to Keon Sr., if you're half the man that your dad is, you'll be a great man. And I know your dad very well. I'm proud of his leadership and his abilities and what he's doing in coaching at Fairfield High School. And Coach, you made me forget my pocket hanky this morning, but I'll borrow a couple of yours next time I see you. Okay?
Thank you, guys.
Hey, thank you so much.
Smiling today.
Thank you so much to Fairfield High Preparatory School and the Tigers. Good luck to you all this season. And guys, we're going to roll right into their rival, the Winona High School Dragons, are up next here. We got head coach, Coach Daniel Flowers. How you doing this morning, Coach?
How y'all doing?
Well, good. It's good to see you, man. I hadn't been over in District 7 in a while, but I've always supported the Dragons from afar, and glad to have you all on this morning. I'm going to introduce you to the media. Robert Carter from Birmingham Watch. We've got Jeff Spiegel from ABC 3340, Seth Holloway from the Cutoff News, and we might have Christina Chambers to join us back from Fox 6. So I'm going to turn it over to the media now to hear about the Dragons and their future. First, any questions for the media?
Coach, it's a season like no other, to rip off the line from the Masters golf tournament. You're having to deal with things in the environment of COVID-19 that you probably never thought you would ever see. What has been the strangest adjustment that you've had to make to keep your players and coaches safe?
The mask. And the mask is the hardest thing we're dealing with. It's hard to keep them to get masks. I have to give out 5 to 10 masks a day. That's very difficult, man. Playing football, it's hot outside. Remember, guys having masks on. Y'all got to spray down twice a day. Got to make sure to keep their hands clean. Got to make sure they stay away from each other. That's difficult. Football is a contact sport. So the kids are usually touching each other all the time. But now we got to stay apart from each other. Don't get too close. That's tiresome every day. I'm glad football is back. Like I said again, these kids need some type of normalcy. And football is the best way to get them back.
Coach, looks like you've got several players there with you. Tell us about who you've got there.
To my right, your left is Kamara Baker. He's an H-back linebacker for us. He's going to be a senior this upcoming year.
Who else do you have?
We can't hear him.
Yeah, out loud.
Well, Coach, we can barely hear him, so if we can go ahead. If you can introduce the players for us, it'd be great.
We got beside me to the left is Hendricks Calhoun. He played middle linebacker, also played H-back. He was a senior that got hurt last year, so he itching to get back on his field. The next guy got my quarterback, Theo Gibson Byers. He gonna be a junior this upcoming year. Like I said again, he's new to it. Like I said, we all new to it. So we hope these guys can help us out this year.
You're saying everything is there are a lot of things that are new. Run down some of the things that don't have to do with COVID, but that have everything to do with X's and O's. What's different for you this year?
This year I brought in a new offensive coordinator, Harry Little. He come from prep school ball. He's pretty good, know how to attack. He brought his guys in with Coach Jones, running back coach. Coach Arrington gonna be the new receiver coach. I also have 2 new offensive line coaches, Chase Gaston and Dansby. Like I said, we whole different offense this year. It's different. It's gonna be a different ball game on that side of the ball. On the defense side of the ball, I also brought in a new defense coordinator, Sean Younger. He brought his own guys in. The linebacker coach gonna be Dawson. He's a good coach. He played at NC State. And we also retained Coach Fortune. He also gonna be in that defensive back secondary too. Another guy we brought in, familiar guy to Birmingham, Alex Wilson. He's gonna be my defensive line coach this upcoming year. Like I said, defense-wise, we're going to attack the football. We're not always attack the ball. I think we finally got back to that point of them attacking the ball. We got some guys in place. We're going to be big up front. Just hope we can cause a lot of havoc up front, make teams pass the ball. I feel you're going to run to our sprint.
Coach, you said Theo's your new quarterback. What's special about him that made you choose him as your point man?
Theo's very elusive. He can run. He can also throw the ball well. He's not as big as the guys we had last year, but he's faster. He run the offense we're trying to run a lot better. Like I said, Theo also a smart kid too. He's very humble.
Theo, what you want to step in for a second because you're kind of the leader of the quarterback. So what's your take on all the new situation? What has Coach brought to the team that you see changes in?
What coaches have brought to the team this year is better awareness of what they need to do on the field. We have good players. They're more aware of what they need to do and what's the goal for this year. They're more disciplined. We have a great team that I can say.
Coach, I'm going to throw another question. It's kind of a curveball, but what's your kicking game looking like this year? That could be you're winning and losing. Who you got kicking for you this year?
Coach, if you will, turn the actual phone to you or the camera to you.
Yeah, turn the camera there. You go. Now go ahead.
Like I said, we have a kid by the name of Mandel Sizemore. He didn't play last year. He's our kicker this upcoming year. He's been doing a good job in our scrimmage this past Friday. He did a good job kicking the ball off. He went 3 for 3 on PATs. So I think he can get good from the 20-yard line. He's very consistent too. Kick the ball pretty high. As far as punting game, Hendricks Calhoun going to punt for us this year. I think in practice alone, he averaging about 38 yards a punt. Now we go about special teams every day. Early in the season, special team defense get you beat. So we've been touching it all day on Sunday for 2 hours. We did special teams. We've been doing it a lot.
It's good to hear you say that because a lot of coaches forget about that special teams.
Any other questions from any other media for the Winona High School Dragons?
For the players, what's the one team you guys look forward to? I ask everybody this question. What is the one team you guys look forward to playing every year? What's your biggest rival? We'll start over here. What's the one team you guys look
forward to? Which one?
Yeah, over here. Either one. What's your biggest team? What's the biggest rival for you every year?
The biggest thing for me, it'll be Fairfield High School.
I say Pleasant Grove. I always say Pleasant Grove as well.
Yeah, it looks like we got a unanimous. Every team they have said Pleasant Grove.
Man, it's going to be some good games against Pleasant Grove this year. A lot of rivalry matchups there, Seth. Any other questions from the media? Well, Coach, I want to commend you and the Winona Dragons. I have one question for you, and you have been there for a short stint, couple years now at Winona High School, and to feel the footsteps of the shoes of that of Coach Cheatham. What's your thoughts about that? Who built a great tradition at Winona, produced players like Sam Shade, others there from many years ago that have gone on to play in the NFL. Your thoughts about filling those shoes and continuing that Dragon tradition?
Like I said, Cheatham was a great football coach at Winona. He was at 30 years. That's unheard of, been in one place for 30 years. Like I said, my last stop, I was there 7 years. Cheatham did a good job on defensively minded kids. That's what they all think about now.
Mm-hmm.
Tough on defense. They physical, their mindset just different. I mean, it's hard to say it unless you hear it. I always hear about how those kids on the hill are. You can't experience it, you get here. And they had to get that from somewhere or somebody. They got that from Coach Cheatham. He did a good job. He stayed kind of back a little bit now since he kind of step away, but you still can feel his presence. I mean, this is probably the best defensive team I had since I've been coaching, and it's going on year 13 for me. So it just didn't come from us, it came from somebody that installed them too, especially the upcoming seniors. Somebody talk to them. Only thing we're doing is riding the wave. I feel like we're gonna lean our hat on this year, defensive and defensive line play. Our defensive line play can really good. Alex Woodson doing a good job of continuing that for us. He coached some big time.
Well, looks like
all guys are back. O-line, D-line is back. So we got some veterans up front. So I feel like as long as we can stay injury-free as far as in our skill position, we're gonna make some people worry just a little bit.
Well, thank you so much, Coach. We appreciate Coach Flowers and Winona Dragons for joining us on the 2020 Virtual High School Football Media Days. To our media, we're going to roll right into John Carroll Catholic High School and the Cavaliers. We got Coach Will Mira, head coach for the Cavaliers. Coach, how are you this morning?
Doing excellent. How about yourself?
Good to see you there, and good to see your players there at John Carroll. I'm going to introduce you to our media. We've got Christina Chambers from WBRC Fox 6, Jeff Spiegel from ABC 3340, Robert Carter from the Birmingham Watch, and also Seth Holloway that's on for Cutoff News. So I'm going to turn it over to the media to hear about the first-year coach and his team at John Carroll High School.
Good morning, Coach, and welcome to Cavalier Land. Hope everything goes well for you. You picked an interesting season to come to the program with the specter of COVID-19 looming large over everything we do. Obviously, it's affected football preparation greatly. What's been the most unusual thing that you've had to do to keep your players and coaching staff safe in the run-up to this season?
Well, I would say Our players and coaching staff have done an amazing job of taking all the precautions that we've put in place. We haven't had a big breakout or anything. We've been able to keep all of our kids here. We're wiping down the weights in between workouts, in between sets. We're really taking care of that. Probably the biggest task was getting the kids to wear a mask during the workouts and getting them to wear a mask on the field. But they've really bought in, and they've done an excellent job of taking care of those little things to make sure that we stay safe. And I'm as well as the coaches. Just everybody as a unit has come together and really taking care of business when it comes to making sure safety is the number one priority.
Coach, let's jump into the X's and O's. Who do you got under center this year for you?
We've got Nick Sellers right here at quarterback. He's kind of a returner. He's been here, and we had an open competition this summer, and he's kind of taking the lead. He's a great leader. He works hard in the weight room. I mean, he's working out with the O-line, D-line boys. So he's pumping weight in there. He's a leader on and off the field. Super excited about him. He's really embraced the new offense and kind of the scheme that we're trying to work to be successful here at John Carroll.
You mentioned new offense. Tell us about it.
I can't tell you too much. I know Winona's over there watching. But we kind of mold to the players we have. We don't have a massive O-line. Honestly, we only have one returning starter, and that's our center. So we kind of put some athletes on the O-line and letting them move around a little bit. We're really focused on angles and taking what the defense gives us. I really like RPO stuff. Our players are smart enough to understand and be able to read a defense and take what they give us. So I'm super excited about the RPO aspect that we've been able to install so far.
Any more questions for the media?
Players, this is a variation of what I asked for you, Coach, leading off. He's had to do a lot of things to adjust for COVID-19. What's the most unusual thing individually that you've had to do to stay within the guidelines of COVID-19 recommendations and so forth? What's most unusual things you had to do in the run-up to this season?
I'd probably say wearing the mask every day. It's been hard, but we've been doing it as a team. And wearing a mask and our temperature before every practice. You got to be on time. You got to be earlier so you can get your temp and you can get ready for practice and everything.
Just backing off of what he said, just wearing a mask every day and making sure that we take the necessary steps so we can have a season.
Coach, one of the things that you've always had as a bit of a handicap is the 135 rule for private schools that's put you usually at a disadvantage to the rest of your region. What do you do to overcome that?
Man, we tell our kids this is what we got. The ones that are here, that's who we're going to play with. We can't change that right now. We're going to take what we've got and we're going to do the best that we can with what we've got. And these kids, I can't tell you how proud of them I am. We started out at the beginning of March with 15 kids in the program.
Oh my goodness!
Now,
how many you have now? You said
we're at 41 right now.
You moved up from 15 to 41 during from spring to now. All this with COVID-19 hanging over everything.
Yes, sir.
Wow,
that's great.
That is good. Coach, tell us about your running game, who and your wide receivers. What you got there?
So in the running game, we've got Aaron Mason back. He was a great back last year. Unfortunately, his season was cut short with an ACL tear, and he was out for really most of the fall and the spring. And he just got 100% at the beginning of summer. And he has come back, and he's really bought in to. I want to control the game, and I think he's a great outlet for that. Kind of helping out, we've got Martise Smitty Smith. He'll be helping out a little bit, as well as Seth Seidenfeld. Receivers, we've got Quad here. He's super hard working. He's put his nose down and in the weight room. on the field, and he's really embraced. He kind of moved from an inside receiver last year to now he's a little bit of outside and inside. He's actually starting at safety as well. So very, very proud of Quad. We've got Christian Harper out there as well, super fast kid. And they're really buying into the system and kind of how we do things and what the playbook's supposed to look like.
We got Cal Portman just joined us from Starnes Media. Jeff, do you have a question? And we'll go to Cal.
Yeah, Coach. I was just going to ask, how did you get as low as 15, and how did you go from 15 to 41? That was quite a selling job you did on those players.
Well, it got a little low. Just kind of. I'd like to speak more on the where we are now. These kids have, like I said, they've come in and they've worked super hard, and they spread word of mouth and really spread it throughout the school and got some kids to come back and got some new kids to come out. And I'm super excited about the positive attitudes that they've brought. So I give all the credit to these kids that have really bought in and decided that they want to build this team the way they want it built and the way that this coaching staff has kind of installed into them. And they've done an excellent job of selling it to the kids up in the school. I've got to give a lot of credit to them and holding themselves accountable. 2 words that we've really adopted through this whole process is adaptability and accountability. They've got to adapt to the new way that we're doing things, and that's just across the board with the COVID pandemic, with a new coaching staff, just kind of the new rules that we brought in, new playbook, just every bit of it, and then they're going to be held accountable. So that they've really held each other accountable, making sure that they're all showing up to practice, making sure that it's really one unit, and I'm super proud of them.
Kyle?
Yeah, Coach. I mean, this is the program that you've been involved with for a long time. Went there, coached there as an assistant for several years. What's that going to be like leading this team off the bus on Friday night?
Man, it's special. Honestly, it really hasn't set in. Kind of like Kyle said, John Carroll's been my life for the last 15 years, starting back to 7th grade. I played middle school football in 7th and 8th grade, varsity football freshman year through senior year, and I started coaching the year after that in different roles here and there. And it's crazy, and it kind of finally started setting in. Last Friday, we had a little inter-squad scrimmage and being under the lights and calling plays, and it kind of set in then. But I still can't imagine what it's going to feel like Friday night, stepping off the field or stepping off the bus at Tarrant to play Fultondale. So I'm super excited about it, and I can hardly put it into words.
Any more questions for Coach Mira?
Yeah, I wanted to follow up on the question I asked a little while ago and kind of related to the players. You have to have a lot of belief in Coach Mira and what he's doing with this program to go out there and lay it on the line for him. Talk about how much respect you have for him and how badly you want him and you to succeed.
Coach Mira is like a dad to me. He's been there with me for a while. He was my middle school coach, and he's always been there for me. And I'd die for him. I know he'd die for me as well. And I'm looking forward to playing for him this season. And yeah.
Just me personally, my relationship with Coach Mira is like I can call him for anything. Like I can be stuck on the side of the road, call him up, and he'll come check in on me. Like anything I need, he asks me. And just like Nick said, a lot of our players, like he was their middle school coach, so like they already know what to expect. And it's just I run through a wall for this guy right here.
Any more questions? Any more questions for John Carroll? Well, I'll say this to you, Coach. Thank you so much for joining us. I've had a chance to watch Nick Sellers, your quarterback there, over the past few years, and I've been to see him with my son at the Peyton Manning camp down in Louisiana about 5, 6, 7 years ago with my son Trey, and to see him mature and to be the quarterback he is today is truly tremendous. And they play 7-on-7 together at PME. So you've got a good one there. Some great athletes there, John Carroll. And we look forward to seeing that school off of Lakeshore doing some big things here in the future. Thank you so much for joining us today. At this time, media, we'll take a break. We've gone 3 schools in a row on the 2020 Virtual High School Football Media Days. Up next will be Oak Grove High School and Coach Zach Glaze. We'll be back for more right here on the 2020 Virtual High School Football Media Day. Welcome back here to the 2020 High School Football Virtual Media Days. It has been a slam-packed morning here on. Truly a pleasure to have this next school coming up, Oak Grove High School. Head coach Zach Glaze is going to join us right now. Coach, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you. How are you guys doing?
Good to see you this morning. You and your players there. We have some media we want to introduce you to at this time. We have Christina Chambers from WBRC Fox 6. Christina, how are you this morning? She should be popping up here shortly. Christina's not on right now. She's going to join us here in a minute. We've got Robert Carter from Birmingham Watch.
Good morning, Oak Grove. How you doing today?
Seth
Good.
Holloway.
How you doing?
Doing fine.
Seth Holloway is going to join us here from the Cutoff News. Seth?
Coach, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Yes.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
And we have Jeff Spiegel from ABC 3340. At this time, we appreciate you being here, Coach, and Kyle Parmley is here from Thorns Media. So we've got 4 media outlets on to talk to you today. At this time, we'll turn it over to the media, and who's going to kick it off for us?
I'll take it. Coach, welcome to Oak Grove. You're brand new. Give us a little bit of your history and how you got to where the Tigers roam.
All right. So I'm from here. I played here, but I've been gone. I've been gone for 15 years and been all around. I started out at Hueytown, and I was there from 07 to 12. I was at Gadsden City for 3 seasons, Minor, Hoover, and then Mortimer Jordan. I was a defense coordinator at Mortimer Jordan this past season. So I've kind of been strategic with my stops and just kind of grown and learned throughout the process, just trying to pick up little tidbits where I've been. I've been blessed to be a part of some really successful programs and, be around some really, really good high level head coaches to help prep me for where I am now.
And that was an impressive sounding list that you reeled off there. You come into a head coaching job in a very unusual year. You've got the specter of COVID-19 looming over everything. What's the most unusual thing that you had to do to deal with the pandemic and keep your players and coaches safe in the preseason?
Well, there's 2 parts to that. The most unusual thing that I've had to deal with since taking the job is going into fall camp not knowing who's good in pads and who's not. Everything changes when you put pads on. That's how the game is played. And so that was very, very unique. And we made changes throughout camp, that we would have normally made during spring ball. And so, schematically, we've been fine. We've had a great summer. It's been weird not mixing coolers. Everything's out of a 20-ounce bottle. It's weird. The kids have to wear masks everywhere they go, and so do we. And, you got kids in there spotting on squats wearing masks. If I could go the rest of my life without ever saying mask up again, it would be nice. But there's been some unique situations, but our kids have handled it beautifully. We've got the largest team in Oak Grove school history. So this is the 99th season of football here. This is one of the Jefferson County schools, one of the charter members of the school system. And so to have the largest roster, in that long or that large of a history is pretty cool. It's pretty unique.
Yeah, I believe that you and Corner have that same number. How many players you got coming out this year?
We got up when we went on leave, or whatever you want to call it. When we left, we were at 108, and so
wow.
COVID hurt us. I say it all the time, like I don't mean it negatively, but the schedule we run and the schedule coaches run, it's not normal. And so you give them 2 months off, and it's almost like a wild animal is becoming domesticated. And so, we've operated at about 70 all summer, and that's what we'll dress on Friday. That's our travel list, and that's 9 through 12. But I really do, some people will say, well, if you had spring ball, you would have weeded some out. First of all, I don't ever want to weed any out. I want as many as we can get. I'm more of an inclusive person. But I think I think we would have had higher numbers. I think those kids, started sleeping late, and then when those 6 a.m. mornings started happening in summer, they were like, no, I ain't ready to go back to that. So, but we've done well holding steady right there at about 70.
Well, Coach, introduce the players you brought today.
All right, so on my left is a 4-year letterman. It's Justin Weaver. He is our starting strong safety. He does a lot for us on special teams. He's the co-chair of our leadership council. Just a future senator. Hopefully we can get some folks in this politics that can help us all. But he's a dude. He's brilliant. He adds to our culture. He adds to everything we do daily. And on my other side, Braylon Myers is our starting quarterback. Braylon hadn't been playing, and he is the best athlete in the school, and is an Alabama baseball commit, and brings so much to the table. I mean, he has a list of intangibles. I don't have time to reel them off. I mean, he adds to us significantly on the field, and more importantly in the locker room. So I got 2 really good ones with me this morning.
So, Coach, I mean, if kind of tell us, with the struggles of the past couple of years, what's it been like getting Coach Glaze in, and what gives you guys the belief that you guys can start the turnaround?
Well, when Coach Glaze came in, it just immediately changed the culture. Our culture has been centered around love and just like it's all for the players' benefit. And just ever since, we've been just busting it every single day, like with the love we have in the locker room, just busting it, because it's like what Coach Glaze says, it's easier to play for someone that you love than someone you hate or fear. So
love is a greater motivator than fear, and we operate on that.
And like he said, it's just a whole new environment, and Coach Glaze just makes us better every day. He pushes us to be better every day.
Coach, for the players, what's the prospects for you guys this year? Any college looks right so far, commits or anything?
We don't have any commits. We've got now. Braylon could play just about wherever he wanted to, but he has been wanting to play baseball at Alabama since the time he could probably walk, and so he wants to do that, and we want him to do that and be successful in that. But he's going to have a really good year at quarterback, and he's going to have some good numbers. Justin is going to be a prospect, probably. Like I said, he's a strong safety type for us. He's probably going to end up being a guy that'll play an overhang or like a nickel type position at the next level. We've got a really big nose guard that has added to us, that a 6'4", 350-pound guy that can move and is athletic, plays basketball, got skills. He passes all the things you look for with a large athlete. He passes the test. So
looks like we got a slight pause there, guys. Let's see if it'll catch up with us here. The world of virtual media.
Technology is a wonderful thing when it works.
Yeah, when it works. Okay. You there, Coach?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. If we can state that question for us again.
All right, where are we at? Where's the last thing you heard?
We didn't hear much, Coach. So let's go ahead and make that response again, if you don't mind.
All right. So as far as prospects go, Justin will have a chance to play ball at the next level as a nickel. He kind of plays strong safety. He rolls down some for us, but he'll be more of a nickel at the next level. Of course, Braylon is playing in the SEC, playing baseball in the SEC at Alabama. If he wanted to play football, he would have plenty of opportunities to do it. He's really, really good, and he's going to have some good numbers. We've got a really good nose guard that has come back home, graduated with the people he grew up with. Solomon Williams is his name. He's 6'4", 350 pounds, and can move. He's athletic. You got to check those ankles first. He's got skinny ankles. That's important. So he can move, and being a 3'4", that's important to have that big nose sitting there. So he'll have some, but we'll have a few other guys. We've got a really good tight end, probably one of the better tight ends in the state, Gage Capleton. He's 6'2", 220 pounds. None of these guys have offers. We've made tapes throughout the summer and sent out. And of course, we're doing that with our fall camp. We'll send them out periodically. So we'll send out tapes after camp, and then we'll send them out every 2 weeks throughout the year. But those guys will have they'll lead us, and they'll have a really, really good shot. We got a big back that might end up being, he's a 195-pound back, and he might end up, his name's Zach Brinson. He might end up being more of an H-back at the next level. But we got some guys that'll have a chance to play at the next level.
Coach, your location sometimes out there in out in the country in northwest Jefferson County means that you kind of fly under the media radar. I know when I worked for the North Jefferson News in Gardale for many years, and I'd come cover Fultondale playing at your stadium, I'd usually hear from folks, "You're the only reporter we see," so it was a once every 2 year thing. Is that a hindrance or a help being kind of under the radar?
Well, we don't want to be under anything. I mean, I would rather be on the radar than off it. I want our kids deserve that. I'm hoping, I've built a pretty good network. I'm hoping, between Spiegel and Parmley and some of these guys, I'm hoping we get some guys out here. I'm hoping we get a little more coverage because some of you guys know me and have known me at previous stops. But yeah, no, there's nothing positive about not being covered. Well, I want our kids, I'm going to get to do this for the next 40 years of my life. It's a really, really small window for them. So everything we do is about enhancing their experience. So yeah, added press coverage, to me, that adds to their experience.
Coach, tell us about the running game and your wide receiver core. Who do you got there?
All right, so our running game, like I said, we've got a really good tight end that plays some H-back for us that does a great job and is a super physical player. That's Gage Capleton. Our tailback is Zach Brinson. He's a big back. He's 196, 197-pound back that's got good speed. He's just, we've had to work with his vision. We've had to work with him being okay with making a vertical cut and taking the 4 yards the defense gives you. Everything's not centered around the sideline. And so, but he's done a great job. We've got an entire new staff. Out of the 10 or so they had here, we retained 2, and it's new faces, top to bottom, middle school included. So, we've got 11 new people here working with these kids that all have kind of unique connections with me from over the years. And so the kids have done a really good job with the coaching and the new techniques and the new schemes. And as far as the receivers go, we'll flex our Y out some. That's the Capleton kid. He plays some slot for us. We've got a sophomore starting at Z, Caden Scoggins, that is a little baller. He finds a way to catch the ball, and he finds a way to get out of a tackle. And then we've got our weak side slot, which he's also in the backfield some, is kind of our smaller accent, back, if you will. Will Gavidia. He's a senior. He's been here. He's been a starter. And he is just every day. He sets the tone every day. He brings it every day. He does great work for us. But he's a speedster. He's one of the faster kids on the team. And then at X receiver, we've got a guy that he's been playing outside linebacker for years, and I wanted him on the field, and I wanted to look at him somewhere, and I thought he fit what we did better over there at outside receiver. He's long, rangy, and he's got good use of himself. And so, man, and I wasn't sure how it was going to work out, but his name is Jake Higgins, and I'm telling you, he sets the tone every day. He's here early. He's here late. He's here running routes with this guy when, I'm in here at night. They're wanting the stadium lights on just so they can get out there and work some of them too. He is he's been the highlight of the summer, and he has developed into one of the better players on our team. He's going to have a really, really good senior season.
Coach, I got a question for you about Braylon there, Myers. Is this his first year as quarterback?
Yes, sir, it is.
What was special about him that made you pick him as your starting man?
Well, so when they hired me in early January, I was announced my first day on campus. I had a team meeting at 1:00, and then I had folks showing me, my wife, our kids around school. And so we had an in-school basketball game. I want to say it was Leeds. I don't remember, but we had a game that day, 5th block, and I'm walking around and I wanted to stop and watch some. And so, I got everybody to stop and wanted to see a possession or two of the basketball game. And so Braylon stuck out to me because he's really good at basketball, but he stuck out to me because of how, all the other guys that look at him, it's just, there's something about how they look at him, man. And I like that. And so there was some kind of, I can't remember the exact exchange, but there was a foul called. So they're at the free throw line. And I look over there and I see Braylon. Y'all got me? I look over there and I'm on the baseline. They're shooting free throws. Braylon is right there on the block, and I can see him whispering into the kid's ear next to him. And, I'm not going to go verbatim, but I loved what I saw. And I knew right then, and the principal said, "Oh, that's Braylon Myers. He's basketball, baseball," and which my principal is, absolutely out of this world. I mean, she wants me to get everybody, but everybody in the entourage around me were all like, "Yeah, that's Braylon Myers. He doesn't play football." But I knew right then, I knew pretty quick the swag he had, the intangibles he had. I was going to find a way to get him. And it didn't take too much convincing. I mean, he wanted to do it. So it's worked out, and it's been a good match.
Braylon, I've seen you play basketball. I've seen you play baseball. I know you're a good athlete. What made you want to come and play football?
Well, just knowing it's Coach Glaze's first year and just knowing that he loves each and every one of us. I mean, there's not a day that we don't leave here. He tells us that he loves us. And since it's my last year, I just wanted to be around my friends and spend time with my friends. And no better way than ending it.
And last question for me, Justin. You've been around the program for a long time. You see me out there on the field covering you guys. What's the one thing that Coach hasn't touched on that you might want to touch on that he's brought to the team or brought to OG for life?
Intensity and expectations. He expects perfection from us. And our whole team wouldn't have it any less. He expects us to go out there and bust it every single day in practice, every single day in the weight room, and for it to translate onto the field. And there's just no better coach for us to do that than him.
All right, I actually have two more questions, maybe if the others don't mind. Coach, you have 100 and you said about 100 players this year, something like that, right?
We started out when we went on leave. We were at about 108. We're actually, our dress list is 70, so we'll try 70 this week.
Most years, Oak Grove has to go. Players have to play both ways because the team has been so small. Is that going to be the norm again this year, or do you have some players that are playing in just one position?
Yeah, we don't have anybody going both ways. Now we've got some packages. I mean, but we did that at Hoover and anywhere at Jordan,
right.
Everywhere I've ever been. We've had. When we were at Hueytown, Jameis would go out there and play corner in critical position. I mean, in critical possessions. I mean, so, there's some situations. I mean, if it's Hail Mary and we're in cheetah package, Braylon's going to be the deep middle safety. I mean, and that's once every 3 or 4 games,
Right.
So
in the past, Oak Grove has been a two-way team because it's been so small. So I was just wondering if you were going to be doing that this year again. And last question for the players, for Justin and Braylon. What's the one team, and I've asked this of everybody, but what's the one team rivalry-wise that you guys look forward to playing every year?
Brookwood. Easy.
And why is that? What's that called?
It's the minors pick that we play for, but it's just a different level of intensity and just hate. You go out there and you want to rip their head off every single possession of the game.
Brookwood.
Thank you, Seth. Any other questions from the media? Christina Chambers just joined us from WBRC Fox 6. Christina, I don't know if you had a question or not for Coach Zach Glaze in Oak Grove.
Yeah, I guess just, how do you keep your team in their mindset, I guess, more on the uplifted side, knowing that you could get a call any day, knowing that a game could be canceled as you guys move forward?
Yeah, well, because we don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. Now, we practice our protocols, but there has never, you could ask these guys individualized in a sealed room, and they would say the same thing. I have never mention the word cancellation. We will not discuss it. And so we've approached every day as if we're playing 10 games. And, to be honest with you, this is the first time I've had this conversation. We're not talking about it. We do our part. We're good citizens. We wear our masks. We wash our hands. We socially distance. And when that's not possible, we mask up. So we've never, and we believe in the best in everybody else. So we don't look, and that's part of our culture. Look, we find the positive in everybody that we come in contact with. So even something like that's a hypothetical. That hypothetical is based on someone else not doing their job and not being a productive citizen, or not being a responsible citizen, rather. We don't talk about it. I mean, we assume everybody is doing their part. Now, look, there's not. I mean, there are people that are not, but we don't talk about it.
Zach, if I had any high school eligibility left, I would play for you.
I appreciate that, Stephen. I'd love to have you, buddy.
Any more questions for Coach Glaze? Well, to sum this up, there are no cancellations. We got it, Coach. Also, I love the phrase that Seth Holloway used, OG for life, and that's Oak Grove for life. We appreciate you all being on with us today for this 2020 virtual high school football media days. You look the part, Coach. You look like a director of athletics. You got some great young men there, and we look forward to watching you all during this 2020 football season.
Hey, thank y'all for doing what you do, and thank y'all for highlighting our athletes, man. Our kids need, they need an enhanced experience with everything they do, and especially they've been robbed of some stuff due to this COVID. So just, y'all don't hear it enough. Thank you. Thank you for what you do.
Well, glad to do it, Coach, and glad to have you all today. It's all about those young men that are sitting next to you in this upcoming football season. We'll keep you in our prayers. Next, we're going to have coming up Woodlawn High School, the Woodlawn Colonels, and Coach Gentrell Eatman. Remember, the hashtag is it's High School Football Media Days, HSFB Media Days 20. If you're following us on social media platforms, we're live on Facebook right now, and we're live via YouTube. So we look forward to tuning you in. This is great time, great job with the media that's on. We'll be joining you back here shortly with the Woodlawn Colonels. Well, it's been a great day so far. We're going to keep this thing going here on the 2020 Virtual High School Football Media Days. Truly a pleasure to have you join us here live on Facebook on our page and also via our YouTube channel. Next, we have up Birmingham City School football program. It's going to be Woodlawn Colonels and Coach Gentrell Eatman. Coach Eatman, how are you today?
How are you doing today, sir?
Good to see you all and the Colonels here on this virtual media day we're having for our football teams across Birmingham, Jefferson County, and Shelby County today. I'm going to introduce you to our media. We've got Robert Carter from Birmingham Watch that's on with us this morning.
How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
We got Seth Holloway from the Cutoff News.
I think Seth actually, there he is.
There he is. We've got Christina Chambers from WBRC Fox 6. She just got finished running a marathon, but she's going to join us here shortly. Christina. All right. We also have Cal Parmley, I think, that stepped off, and maybe we'll have some. Oh, Cal Parmley's with us here from Starnes Media that's going to join us right now to talk to the Colonels. So I'm going to turn it over to our media to chat with you here for a few minutes, Coach Eatman, and glad to have the Colonels on from Woodlawn High School. Who wants to start this off for us? Kyle?
Yeah, Coach, just what's it been like getting into a new situation and meeting the guys and trying to get things rolling at Woodlawn?
Well, it's been a little different because when I first accepted the job and coming in, actually the first day I supposed to have been stepping foot into the school, we was hit with COVID. But during that time, we did a lot of Zoom meetings during the springtime, trying to do installment and working our way to June 1st, where we got a chance to meet the kids even more and try to see what they'll be able to do and what they can do. So it's been kind of like a little rough rocket start right now, but everything's starting to smooth itself out.
Coach, you mentioned stepping in the first day that COVID became a big deal for our schools and basically ended that previous school year. That it still looms over us going into the new school year, the new football season. What's some of the strangest things that you've had to do to comply with COVID-19 guidelines and keep your players and staff safe?
Basically, just dealing with the guidelines what our city board has in place for us in the state as well. It just getting here early, making sure we're doing temperature check, wiping down the weights, the barbells, and the benches after we get through lifting, breaking kids off in groups. And so that's been kind of the rough part because, like, for the past 17 years of me coaching, we always had our guys in together. And so that's the thing, trying to make sure that we got everybody in the weight room competing with each other while we lift and also want to compete on the field as well. So that's been the rough part about it, just doing all the little things that got to keep everyone safe, including the players and coaches.
Speaking of your guys, you've got two of them sitting on either side of you. Would you introduce them to us, please?
Well, I have some younger guys with me. As you know, we're going to try to rebuild this program from the ground up. And so I have two sophomores with me. I have a quarterback to my left is Chris Allen, and I have one of my cornerbacks with me who is D. Stroggins.
You mentioned building from the ground up. It was a bit of a struggle last year. This year, you face even more of a challenge because you're stepping up into 6A, into a very tough region. Tell us about that.
Well, we 6A, but I don't think we should be 6A, but we still not going to make no excuses. My whole thing is to get kids now to be able to compete every play. And so I know we might not win every play, but as long as they're competing and learning the game, that's going to be the biggest thing that's for us as a young team. Because I'm looking to play, even though, you know, in the city of Birmingham, we brought up our middle schools. I'm looking to play a 7th grader, a couple of 8th graders. And so right now, that's where it's all going to start with the younger guys. But we do have older guys that's in the system that's still doing what they're supposed to do. But we're trying to get those guys to help lead the way. But these younger guys are going to carry the torch.
So how many are you dressing out, including the 7th and 8th graders?
Right now, we're going to average right at 40, 41 right now. And I know
that's really small for a 6A team.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Chris Allen for a second. What made you choose him as your quarterback? And is this his first year?
Well, it's his first year. I guess the signal calling. I have both of them here, but Chris, he's going to be the one that leads by example. He's not a rah-rah guy. He's not going to get up in your face and talk. He's going to take constructive criticism, and he's going to play the next play after the next play. And so he's the 3C guy called cool, calm, and collected.
Chris, what have you done in the offseason to prepare for this new role that you're stepping into?
I've been working hard. Like I've been like getting to work with myself. Like I've been doing a lot of things, like getting work with the wide receivers, some of my receivers, and I've been preparing myself for the season.
Yeah, Coach, he's real cool, calm, and collected. You did say
he's very calm.
I like that. I like that.
Coach, tell us about your running game real quick.
Well, my running game is going to be led by a ninth grader who's a big body, who's, we always going to pretty much press the middle of the field and look for the zone. So, like I said, all of my guys are pretty much young, and so we still trying to learn the game of football and become better students of it.
Coach, even though you've been a head coach before, is there anything that could have prepared you for the situation we're in right now?
Well, yeah, I've been a head coach before, and actually in my hometown, Greene County High School, but I ended up leaving there to go with Coach Nix at Pinson Valley. Spent 3 years there and worked with him the past 2 years as the OC, with him doing game planning. Just being up under Coach Nix and seeing how he work with things, how he break down film and everything, he's pretty much prepared me for this moment here now today. And so I call him, text him, thank him for just having that leadership and guidance during those 3 years. So right now we kind of pretty much on the same system where we ran at Pinson, but I know by me throwing the whole offense at Chris right now, he's still young and he's going to catch up with it later on. So now,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So right now we still just pretty much building the offense around Chris.
Yeah, you picked an awfully good time to be up at the Valley with Bo Nix and Kool-Aid McKinstry. It's still up there. Have you got anybody there on your program that reminds you of Bo or Kool-Aid?
Well, you can't. It'll be hard for someone to remind you of those guys. Those guys work at a high level, and so right now we are trying to instill that with our guys here at Woodlawn. And so, but we do have some kids that's going to come up in the near future that's going to be pretty darn good.
All right, this is a question for the players and maybe for the coach. Coach or players, do you guys realize, and I'm going back in history a little bit, Woodlawn has a historic football history, and even so much a movie has been made out of it. I've seen that movie 6 times. One of my favorite of all-time movies. You players, do you guys know the significance of Woodlawn High School and the history behind all this? Chris?
Somewhat, but not really.
Coach, have you shown him the movie yet?
Well, actually, we haven't shown him yet, and so my whole thing, I was going to show it to him later on, but right now we've been behind dealing with this pandemic. Actually, I got a chance to sit and watch it again. Even I had a chance to speak with Mr. Tony Nathan, and so there's a lot of history behind it. And so right now we haven't got to that point yet, but I will let them know and see it though. And have a chance to watch it.
Second question for the players. You guys are moving into a new region, new division, new class. Is there any team that you guys are really looking forward to? And I want to hear from my man over here, Chris. You answered all the questions. I want to hear from my man over here. What's one team you guys are looking forward to playing in that new class, new division? And what's your favorite rivalry team of every year that you guys get to play?
Every game.
Every game. Chris, what's the one team you're looking forward to playing?
I look forward to play Huffman.
Huffman?
Okay.
All right. That's a good one.
Okay. Any other questions from the media for Woodlawn? We do have Christina Chambers back with us from Fox 6. Christina, you going to join us? All right.
Is she there?
Producer said she was backstage. She went back off. I guess she had to go back into another meeting. Any questions for Woodlawn?
I have another question for Coach. Coach, you have only 44 players. You're one of the smallest, if not the smallest, 6A team in the state. That means a lot of boys are going two ways. What are you doing to really prepare them for playing an Ironman kind of football against bigger teams that have a lot more depth?
Well, actually, we're really not going two ways though. We have a package of formation that's in when a guy on defense come over to offense, but actually we are pretty much one-way guys. It may seem difficult, but we are pretty much one-way guys. Actually, I told you we have a lot of young kids that can step up and play, and so why not play them early right now? Because I always use during practice. We never know when it's going to be our last day. They can shut it down tomorrow. So each day we're going to go out and compete and practice hard, and we're going to play each play like it's our last. We're going to treat each day like it's our last. So we use that as fuel to fire us to go to be able to compete every day. So I look at it. I was talking to my AD. He said, hey, when you go to the NFL, you playing against 10 guys that's been in the league as veterans, and you come in as a rookie. If you can play, you're going to play.
Any questions for Coach Eatman? Well, Coach, I want to commend you on your team and what you're doing. I think I read an article from a few months ago where you were out and about in the community, engaging the community around Woodlawn and reaching out prior to COVID. That to me is just tremendous to show the type of program you want to build from the ground up in the foundation. Just explain what you were doing real quick for us, just over there in the Woodlawn community.
Well, actually, we was on Zoom, and the kids were telling me, well, hey, Coach, I'm out there doing this. I'm working out. And I had kids even sending me videos of them working out, with techniques. And so I said, hey, you always show your true character when no one is watching. I said, if you all out there working out and doing whatever you're doing, I said, I'm just going to roll up on you. And so one of the coaches and I was talking, he would say, hey, let's ride out there. So I ended up hopping in the truck with him, and we was just riding around the community. We saw some kids out there working out. Then I even went door to door trying to make sure that everybody was doing fine, that they was eating right, having enough food, and making sure that they was getting through this pandemic. And, because like I said, when I came in the building, we're supposed to be get started with school, but school was shut down. So my whole thing was trying to check on the team and make sure they was doing fine during that troublesome time.
Well, I commend you, Coach, on that effort, and that just shows great leadership is for you as a head coach and building a program in the future. To those two young men that are sophomores, you are the future of the Colonels at Woodlawn High School, a very historic school. Seth touched on that. A lot of history, a lot of great coaches have come to that school there, and so it's a great place to play and a great place to build a program. So thank you so much for joining us on the 2020 Virtual High School Football Media Day. We're going to take a break. 2-minute break here. We'll be back with the Class 7A team. Get a chance to talk to head coach Josh Floyd and the Hewitt Trustful Huskies and their plans in Class 7A for the upcoming season. Please stay tuned. We'll be back with more from 2020 Virtual High School Football Media Days. Welcome back here to the 2020 Virtual High School Football Media Days. It's been a great day covering high school football across the Birmingham metropolitan area. Today we have our only Class 7A school that's going to be on with us, the Hewitt-Trussville Huskies. And I'm glad to see that Coach Josh Floyd is joining us here from Hewitt-Trussville this morning. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for being on. Today, we've got some media that's going to come in and ask you a couple of questions. Your players there from Fox 6, we have Christina Chambers.
Hey.
Hey.
She's excited to see Coach. We also have Robert Carter from Birmingham Watch.
Hey, Coach, how are you doing this morning?
Good. How are you, man? Good to see you.
I'm doing all right.
Jeff Holloway will be joining us shortly. He stepped off from Cutoff News, and possibly Jeff Spiegel from ABC 3340. So we'll go ahead and lead in with the media right here. Kyle.
We got Kyle.
Kyle came on late this morning, so it kind of threw me off, to be honest.
Yeah. Good morning, guys.
But I'm sorry, Kyle, I owe you one. And Kyle Parmley from Starnes Media. Let's go ahead and we'll turn up the media for questions right now.
Coach, I've said this countless times today. It's a season like no other. The specter of COVID-19 still looming over us. You've had to make, I know, considerable adjustments to preparing for this season. What are some of the more unusual things that you and your players have had to do to stay safe?
Well, I mean, we're obviously going day to day like everybody, and it seems like as it goes on, it's almost like you get used to doing one thing, and then something changes or the guidelines change. So I definitely think we're learning a lot about just we're trying to control what we can control, and we obviously can't fix everything. But we're just trying to go one day at a time. The biggest thing obviously is just wearing a mask. I mean, every time we're in the weight room, we're wearing masks, and that's something different for the guys. I mean, they're moving around a lot, so they're not really with a certain person very long. We're trying to move those guys around a lot. But that's still definitely a challenge. But all those things. We've had questions that we started asking the kids back in the summer. As far as that's how we did it. We didn't take temperatures, but we did. There were about 6-7 questions that we asked the kids. But starting back in June, that was just part of our protocol here. And so, it's the guys have gotten used to it a little bit. I mean, it's just kind of, I told them this week, I mean, if you had told us a month, I mean, some of the stuff isn't fun. If you told us a month ago, you can either not have football or do this and do these things right and have a chance to play the game. I know the answer. I mean, our guys are just excited to have a chance.
Speaking of guys, introduce us to the two gentlemen you have on your left and right.
Sure. We've got Mike Edwards here, number 10. He's one of our outside linebackers, and he's one of our senior leaders. Had a big-time year last year for us, and just one of our leaders on defense. And we're fired up about his senior year. And then to my right is Sean Jackson, number 33. He's a running back for us. Had a great year last year. He's a big-time guy, running back. Does a lot of different things for us. He's very he's a huge part of our offense, and he's a great receiver, obviously a great runner. Also is a physical blocker, and so both these guys are some of our leaders that have put in a lot of time and effort into this program. And I remember watching these guys when they were in the 7th grade. So we're excited they're seniors and ready to play ball.
Hey, Coach, this is Christina. Just do you is it a sigh of relief that it's actually game week, or will you kind of take a deep breath when you actually get to game day, knowing that anything could really change in up until kickoff, really?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's day to day. It's been you hate it for anybody. You've already had a couple schools that have had to cancel this week, and it's disappointing for their kids, and you hate to see that even for other teams. But hey, we're excited. I think we're actually going to get to play football. It's almost like you're going to have to pinch yourself Friday night when it starts to make sure we're actually going to do it. So, but yeah, we're just going to go one day at a time, 1 week at a time, and hopefully we'll be able to get this thing in this year.
You mentioned this week. You arguably have the biggest game in the entire state coming up this week. Tell us about Pinson Valley.
It's definitely a huge challenge. Pinson Valley's been one of the best programs in the state the past 3 or 4 years, and it doesn't matter what classification you're talking about. That these guys have done a great job. Obviously, Coach Nix did a great job there during his time, and Coach Shade is a new coach, and he's got a few challenges there, just like we did. As far as you didn't have a spring football practice, that there wasn't any competition in the summer, so I know they're obviously a new staff, but I know a lot of those guys over there. I mean, they do a great job coaching, and they just have so many weapons over there. I mean defensively, they're really good on the defensive line. It's going to be one of the best D lines that we played the entire season, and obviously everybody knows about Kool-Aid, who's obviously one of the best players, not just in the state of Alabama, but the entire country. And so, we had a great game with them last year. Ended up winning there at the end of the fourth quarter last year. So, it's going to be a huge challenge. But we were just talking before we got on here with these guys. We'll play anybody. We just want to get on the field and play the game.
Michael, tell us a little bit about how much better the defense can be this year. You've got, your second year under Coach Talsman now. So just what can we expect out of that side of the ball?
On the defensive side, we come to bring energy, expect to stop everybody. We expect to put out shutouts every game. We don't want nobody to score. You feel? You gotta have that type of energy. But yeah.
I like that.
Shutouts every game.
Hey guys, Trussell City Schools is a little bit unusual in that you've got like 3 or 4 different options of what you can do for your education. You've got everything from full virtual to hybrid, and I think there may even be full traditional available. Obviously, different players are going to take different options on that. How hard is it to keep a team together just as a team and as friends when you have so many of them doing different things to get their education?
Who's that question for?
That's for both the players.
Oh, both players. All right, Sean, do it.
All right. I think it's real key for our team to like bond, like outside of football. We try to play video games a lot with each other, so that kind of helps with the bonding, especially in different age groups. Because I'm a senior and I play with sophomores and stuff to get to know them better, so we can be a better team.
It's kind of hard though, because you know how they got the schools set up. Some people's parents wanted to stay at home, and some people's parents still want to go to school. But just like he said with the games, and then when we come to the locker room, sometimes some of us will hang out after practice and talk a little bit.
Josh, has it been a challenge for you in managing your players when they're all in those different situations?
It definitely is, and I think that's a big thing. I mean, we always talk about team unity and getting guys being on the same page, and that's been a huge challenge for us. It really has. I mean, one thing that we do a lot in the summer is we'll go compete and we'll have some 7-on-7. Guys go to camps together, and I know. We've gone to a few 7-on-7s where we go out of town and we spend the night together at a hotel, and all those are, they're good for the football part, but they're also good for the bonding of your team and bringing guys together and team chemistry. And so, you didn't have any of that this year. I mean, if anything, we've been trying to keep them away from each other as much as possible. It's just kind of the situation we're in. So it's definitely been a challenge. We're not, they're not allowed to hang out in the locker room, for hours after practice. We can't do that kind of stuff anymore. So it's just, they're doing the best that they can. But, it's just been great to see these guys every day.
Virtual media, Coach. It happens. And
Yeah.
First time this week, past couple of days, we've had that situation. Seth Holloway is joining us from Cutoff News now. Seth, do you have a question for Hugh Trussell?
I guess so, Coach. I'm going to speak on something that's an unsung hero of the game. Tell us about your kicking game real quick. Who's back there for you? What's going on with that?
Sure. We've got a few different options right now, and so we're like everything. I mean, we're trying to battle it out, up until the game, and even the first few ball games. I feel like I keep repeating myself, but that's one of the challenges. Spring football is that's when you get a lot of competition, and we've got Ethan Wilson, who's a kid that's played soccer for us. He came out from the soccer team, and he's doing some things. CJ Curtis was a guy that kicked for us some last year. He's doing a nice job in some different areas. And then Riley Rigg is another one. He's a sophomore. It's an upcoming sophomore and had a good year in 9th grade last year. So, all three of those guys are still competing right now. A couple of those guys punt as well. But we do think we've got a chance to be pretty good on special teams. We feel like we got some good guys in the return game, and we're going to try to obviously be the best that we can be on that side of the ball. I mean, that's when you get in a ball game like we're going to get into this Friday against Pinson Valley. I mean, that may be the difference in a game. An extra point here or there, or a punt or a blocked kick or whatever. That may be the difference in the entire game.
Coach, you're in what a lot of people believe is arguably the toughest football region in the entire country. You know that all too well, especially after you were left on the outside looking in the postseason last year. What are you doing to step it up against that still stiff competition?
Well, I think it always starts with your senior class, and I'm really excited about these guys. That's why I wanted these two guys to be on here today, because they're two of our leaders. And again, this is a group that's been special since the 7th grade, and so I've been watching these guys for a long time, and I think they learned a lot about last year. Last year was a challenge, and just it's not really excuses, just real. We went through a lot of injuries, so there's a lot of issues there. There were probably, some guys on the field that might not have been ready for prime time, but, it was a great experience for them. And I think moving forward this year is going to be a positive for us. And so, but we only go as far as your senior class takes you. And that's what I keep trying to tell our guys. These guys have to be the leaders in our team. And it's a challenge every week. I think that's the biggest thing is you have to bring your A game every week. Because anybody in this league can beat you. If you make the playoffs in this league, you got a shot to win the whole thing. And I think that's just how it's been every single year. And it's not just some of the top teams you hear about, but even some of the teams. It doesn't matter what the record is. You better play your tail off. Everyone is well coached, and they all have really good programs.
Any more questions, William?
Coach, your game is our game of the week for Sideline, and I sent you a message, but want to know what time you guys practice tomorrow.
Tomorrow, it'd probably be around 2:45 to 3 start, as far as our start time.
I think we're good, Coach.
Any more questions for Coach Floyd? Well, good luck to the Hewitt-Trussville Huskies, Coach, and to your team this year. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad we connected to make this a reality for those two young men there to have an opportunity to have a media day during their senior year. So that's what it's all about, and we're just excited for the brand of football we're going to see in Class 7A this year in the region, and good luck to the Huskies.
All right, thanks for having us on here, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Well, we'll come back, guys. We've got Bessemer City High School and head coach Rudy Griffin is up next for us. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back here for more with the 2020 Virtual High School Football Media Days. It's been great to be on the 2020 Virtual High School Football Media Days. We have had a crowded morning of great high schools from Class 7A to Class 5A on down today, and it's truly a pleasure to continue this effort. With a few more schools left, we hope to have you here on and watching and watching these high schools and getting coverage from all out. This will be replayed on Facebook, our Facebook page, which is 2020 Virtual High School Media Days, and also on YouTube. So please tune in and tell parents they can watch this later. But at this time, I want to bring on Bessemer City High School and the head coach, Coach Rudy Griffin. Coach, how are you this morning?
Man, I'm doing great. I mean, thanks for having us.
Hey, thank you for joining us this morning. Just glad to have you here on the 2020 High School Virtual Media Day. We have media that's going to join us at this time. Robert Carter for Birmingham Watch.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
And
man, I'm doing great.
Seth Holloway that's going to join us from the Cutoff News.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
And so we're just excited to have you here. And at this time, we'll turn it over to the media to address you all with questions. And I know Seth is excited about this interview, by the way.
Yeah, but I'm gonna lead off with it first, and then I'm gonna let him get into the X's and O's because he knows you better than I do. But first of all, welcome to Bessemer City. Tell us a little bit about your background, where your coaching career path, or how your coaching career path led you to the Purple Tigers.
Well, I've been coaching about 15 years at all levels. Of course, I played at the University of Alabama. That's kind of where I cut my teeth in playing. And then I got into college coaching. I coached at every level, Division I, junior college, you name it. In the Pac-12, I was at Washington State University, Idaho State. This past recently, I was coaching at East Central Community College. I coached at two other places here in the state of Alabama, high school. I won a state championship in 2009 at Demopolis High School. And then recently I was defensive coordinator at Hewitt-Trussville High School before East Central Community College. I've always had my eye here on Bessemer. It's a rich tradition, a great community setting, and it's no better place to be here but Bessemer.
Is this your first head coaching job at the high school level?
This is my very first head coaching job.
Well, you picked a heck of a year to start out with COVID-19 looming over everybody. That obviously has meant a whole lot of differences in the way that you prepare for this season. Tell us about some of the more unusual things you've had to do to keep your players and your staff safe.
Well, it's the new normal now, and we've all been following the guidelines set out by our local school district here, the Alabama High School Athletic Association, and also the Alabama Department of Health. And we've done that. We've temperature checks, social distancing, face masks. And the good thing about it is our coaches and our players have adapted and adjusted really, really well. So I've been proud of all the guys, and it's something that we just gonna have to do. And we've done a great job with that.
Any last minute changes in your schedule? I know a lot of teams have had to move some games around because others have dropped out or had to cancel a game or two.
Well, as of right now, we're still locked on a full schedule, and everything is it's day to day, especially during these times. But right now, we're still good to go.
Before I turn you over to Seth, I want you to introduce those four gentlemen you have around you.
Okay, well, right here on my side, right here, this is our senior quarterback receiver, Antarius Harris, who's a University of Tennessee Martin commit. We have our defensive end outside linebacker, Quintavious Hutchinson, who's a Murray State commit. We have our junior here, Rico Williams, linebacker, and then our running back here, Jaquan Rollins, senior.
Good-looking bunch.
Well, thank you.
Seth?
Yeah, okay, Coach. I think you mentioned it already, but Rashard is gone from quarterback. Who's going to be under center for you this year?
You're looking at him right here. Antarius Harris, he's going to play our quarterback position.
Harris?
Yep, Harris. Antarius Harris, he's going to play our quarterback position. He played a little bit last year, receiver, quarterback, running back. And so I'm fired up. He's done an outstanding job. Adjusted really well. And I'm anxious to see him get out there on Friday night.
All right, Harris, I saw you last year playing running back. I saw you throwing some passes. Saw you at wide receiver. You're a multi-talented guy. What's the adjustment been like to step into the quarterback role and be the full-time leader?
Well, now it's like a change, but I also like the job because it helped me and my teammates learn each other as a player and as team.
All right. Moving on. Hutchins, you're going to Murray, right?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about the defense this year. Coach, don't say anything. I know you want to say something, but I'm going to ask him.
Okay, oh yeah.
Tell me about your defense and what makes y'all special this year compared to last year.
What make us better from last year? The coaches. Like, the coaches help us even more than last year. The defense that we run and the players that we got on defense.
All right. You were able to hold that McAdory last year. Question again for the defense. You were able to hold McAdory to only 7 points last year. You got the first win in school history against McAdory. So, what's going to be your keys to? And I'm not trying to make it a rivalry, but it is. What's going to be your You lost to Hueytown last year because of an explosive running back. What's going to be your keys to holding those two teams, McAdory and Hueytown, this year?
Execute on defense and know our calls and do what we have to do.
All right. Coach,
Seth, let me jump in here real quick.
Coach, I have to ask. Go ahead, Robert.
Okay. Throwing out the Hueytown game from last year, your other two losses, 1 point each, including the first round playoffs. You got a lot to build on from last year. What are those building blocks and big building blocks, and how are they improving this year?
Well, of course, this is my first year here, and hats off to the team last year. I think they've done a great job. The coaches there, players, to finish 8-2, have a chance to compete for a region championship last year. So again, we're walking into a situation where we lost a lot of seniors. We did, and we're not going to deny that. But we got a lot of young talent here. Young guys is thriving to go. And our goal, just like every year, is of course to win a state championship. But we don't define our success by that. We define our success in every other different ways through our program, through our fourth quarter leadership. But we're excited, and we're excited. Our guys are excited, and I'm anxious just to really see our guys to really compete and go against another opponent, because we're tired of beating up on each other.
Coach, last year Deontay Hall was a big factor in your team. Is he back on the team this year?
No, he's not.
Okay, didn't know if I'd see him back this year or not. Now I got a question for the boys, for the players. I always ask this question of every team, and y'all are no different. Let's just start with Harris over here. We'll go around the circle. Who's the team that you guys look forward to playing every year? What's your one biggest rival?
I would say the biggest rival would be McAdory.
Hutchins?
Yeah, I say McAdory too.
McAdory, Hairtown.
Hairtown for me.
Hueytown for you. All right. Coach, I got a question for you.
Okay.
I did an interview with Coach Cox back in the summer when he got into the Hall of Fame. He described it, and other coaches have described the talent pool in Bessemer as unique. It's called the Bessemer Boys. I've heard them call it that for years and years and years. Can you tell me, can you put your finger on what it is about this community, what it is about this city that breeds great athletes in this area?
Well, it's something to be said about a high school or school district that is own separate community. And, we're our own separate community. And so that's the beauty about it. And everybody loves football. Everybody's been all over, been here supportive. But, and I had the pleasure to play with some Bessemer greats. But the talent here, and it starts in the park, the Little League. And you can go out there on a Saturday and see some of the best talent you'll see across the country in the little leagues. And it's all the way up, middle school and high school. You know, our goal is to keep our boys here in Bessemer, from little league up, and keep our talent here because we got plenty of talent.
Coach, tell us about, you've talked about these four gentlemen that are with you today. Tell us about some people that might not be on our radar, that might show up on our radar in this season that you think might step up in the game.
Well, of course, these gentlemen here, these four guys here, you know what we call them Ant and Q and Jaquan here, who's going to be a big factor. You can't tell his size, but he's probably one of the top 5 biggest running backs in the country at 6'4", 250 pounds. And then Rico, our linebacker, is going to be huge for us. So we're excited, man. And we got a couple other guys and that's going to step up and showcase themselves to the state, and not only that, the nation.
All right. Well, let me ask you, Q, any offers, any looks, any thoughts right now where you're going to go?
As of right now, I'm going to Murray State.
Georgia State?
Murray State.
Murray State. Okay. Jaquan, what about you?
I ain't got no offers yet.
But you will. Don't worry.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You know, I've got a million questions. I could be here for hours, but I'm going to turn it over to Jay and Robert for a second while I get my thoughts together.
Okay, Robert.
Does that mean you're punting?
Yeah. I'm not punting. And for the boys, Robert knows this already, but for the guys, y'all know this is my alma mater. You know, Jessenier, Bessemer is real special to me. My mother taught there for 30 years, so this is always kind of intimidating, kind of exciting, kind of nervous for me to even talk to you guys.
Well, let me help you ease that nervousness while he's putting right here, Robert. Let me share a little history with these young men here, Coach Griffin, if you don't mind. I remember the Jessenier team of 1990. A lot of those guys were on that team. That was one of the largest and biggest offensive lines in Alabama or the country. They could have been a college football offensive line. You know, guys that were huge, and I played with in college, and to see them go on and do great things is tremendous. You come from a great program that was built back years ago that won state championships in Class 6A at the time. And I remember a picture of those guys, Big Tim and those guys in the back of a pickup truck. I don't know if they still have that on the front page of the Birmingham News. And Chris Windsor, some of those great athletes at the time at Jessenier. So you come from a very historic community, very historic program. Matter of fact, your Mayor Gully, went to my alma mater, Alabama A&M University, and is doing some great things for you on that school system. You have a great new superintendent that's doing some great work there. So you got a great school and a great foundation to be successful young men past football. And I know Chris Griffin teaches that to you all. Football is about life, but football will also bring you an opportunity to grow and to be a great man one day. And I want to pull a little nugget real quick too. We're letting Seth putt, Robert. But the Ross Bridge Hotel that you're in right now is a very nice place, Coach.
Oh yeah.
It's lunchtime, okay?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was wondering where that was.
I like the way Coach Griffin take care of his players. Take them back to the clubhouse, and they got smoked wings now. The whole wing, not a drumstick or a shoulder. It's a whole wing, and you can feed them guys and have a great lunch today.
All right,
will do.
Coach, I've got my questions back together. So you got Harris at quarterback now. You're taking him out of the wide receiver role. Tell me a little bit more about some of your wide receivers and what you got packaged there.
We got we'll have a couple young guys. We have a sophomore receiver, Demarion Bolden, who's about 6'5", 215-pound receiver. We'll have our Roy Williams will help us there. We have a myriad of guys, honestly. We probably got about five or six receivers that's going to rotate there, all of them big, fast guys. That's going to help us. A lot of them played last year. Some of them will be new, will be introducing themselves to the state this year. But I'm real fired up about those guys and our running backs. I think our running backs, we got two running backs of kind of different styles. One's the bigger guy, Jaquan, and then we have we call him Lightning. CJ will be our Lightning running back. And But like I said, our guys are hungry. We've adjusted to the new schemes and the tempo of things. And like I said, I'm just anxious, just like these guys are, man, just to go against somebody else.
All right, Coach, my last question for you. You had Minor that you lost by a point last year. I know you're new, but I'm just pointing this out. And Wetumpka, you lost by 1 point. Tell me what you've got planned for your kicking game to ensure those victories that are that close.
Well, we put funny you say that. We just yesterday and all through camp, we've put our kickers in situations where high pressure situations where it's, hey, we got 3 kicks or we got conditioning or whatever. And because again, if the kicker never experienced those pressures until Friday night, that's coaching. And so we make sure, even in practice, that it's a high pressure situation where the whole team is relying or is rallying and behind the kicker. So we got a chance to celebrate because we had a day where it was a compete day for the kicker, and he had to go and make the kick. And actually, it was one. He had one try, 1 for 1, 35-yarder. He had to make it. If not, we had conditioning. He made it, man, and the whole team jumped on him and celebrated like they had just won the lottery.
All right, Coach, we'll see you Friday night with Ramsey.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Looking forward to it.
It's going to be a good one, Coach Griffin, and thank you to the Bessemer City Tigers for coming on today. We really appreciate you, Coach, and good luck to you all this season.
Well, thanks for having us, and thanks for the top 10 for putting this together, man. This is truly an honor and a blessing to be here.
It's all about those young men, Coach. Thank you so much.
No doubt.
All right, next we have coming up is Coach Josh Wright. Our first AISA school is ready to come on now. Coach Josh Wright, the head football coach for Bessemer Academy. How you doing, Coach?
Good. How you doing, Jay?
Hey, good. Thank you for taking my call during practice the other day.
Oh, no problem, man.
Glad to have you on. We've got media here with us now, Robert Carter from Birmingham Watch, and also Seth Holloway from the Cutoff News. I'm going to turn it over to you guys and to ask Coach Wright a few questions.
All right, Coach. Thanks for joining us today. I've said it countless times today. This is a season like no other with COVID-19 looming over everything. Coaches have had to make all sorts of sometimes bizarre adjustments to get ready for this season. What are some of the stranger things that you've had to do to get the Rebels in shape but keep them safe as well?
Well, I think it all started this summer, and mask and as much as we can. And I guess the water situation has been probably the most difficult situation where, that each kid has to have their water bottle and certain situations and the cleaning and the fogging of the weight room and the locker room. I mean, it's just a lot of little extra things that each coach and even our own players have to do each time we go in there.
Coach, your program has been dominant in AISA, which that organization sometimes flies under the radar just because it's smaller, sometimes very small schools, and most of them are concentrated down in South Alabama. In fact, I think that BA is the northernmost team in the AISA that is playing football right now. 2 things. One, because you're so far away from most other AISA schools, how hard is it to make things work financially as well as competitively when you're having to travel so much? And 2, because you're not part of the AHSAA, how hard is it for you to get noticed for your team, and particularly to get colleges to notice your players?
Well, first off, the traveling is very adventurous for us. But our parents are great. They're great about paying for the travel. Most of our games are over 2 hours. Usually we go out of state to play some teams. This year, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to. So we go down to Escambia, which is in Atmore. We go to Phoenix City this Friday night. We go to Auburn. We go to Monroeville. So we travel. We travel a lot. So far as on our, the colleges coming by and getting our kids exposed, as of right now, we have 16 kids on active college rosters. we have a lot of college interest. We have a lot of kids sign. A lot of kids do well at the next level. The senior class we have right now, I expect 4 or 5 of them to sign and continue their education and their athleticism. We're blessed to be in a great area that we can attract a lot of kids. Sometimes, we don't have many kids from Bessemer. A lot of our kids come from the outskirts of Bessemer, whether it be West Blockton, Brookwood, Hueytown, Homewood, Hoover, you just name it. And we just kind of have that reputation of kids that's come. Most of our kids have to drive 20, 25 minutes to school every day. So traveling, we'll go anywhere to play a football game. I'll tell you that. So, and we have, but we enjoy it. We love the game. We got, like I said, a great bunch of kids and a great staff and great administration. And we just love playing ball here.
And just for reference, about how many students does Bessemer Academy have right now, and how many players are you dressing out?
Right now, from K4 to 12th grade, we have about 450 kids. And we're dressing on our varsity roster around 44.
Yeah.
Coach, let's get into the X's and O's. Who's under starting for you this season?
Well, we've got a 3-year starter, PJ McDonald, who's sitting right here, our quarterback. We've got a 2-year starter right here, Jacob Berry, an outside linebacker and receiver. We got a all-state tailback coming back, Jarvis Dancy. We have a starting receiver, Dylan Lee, coming back. Starting center, Cade Hogue, coming back. Starting linebacker, Colin Timmons, coming back. Let's see. Starting linebacker, Brandon Summerlin. We've got a good group coming back, and we've picked up some kids that, can really help us right now.
Tell us about your running game. Who's back there for you this year?
Well, we have about 4 running backs that are all capable. We have Jarvis Dancy. We have Samad Muhammad, who is a returning starter at corner and got a lot of running back last year. We have Brandon Summerlin. We have a transfer, Alquan Manning, who is going to play some slot and some running back, also corner. We have TJ Tate. We have Casey Harrison. And then our fullback is Colin Timmons.
Was PJ your quarterback last year?
Yeah, last 2 years.
Okay, that's what I thought. So not much adjustment for him this year, right? Is there any changes that you're going to do? You guys have had a history of championships since I've been covering news here. I mean, I think I've covered 3 or 4 championships of y'all's. So what, you're champions last year. So any adjustments that you're going to have to make this year, PJ, or are you familiar with everybody this year?
We got a couple transfers on offense, but they kind of fit right in. So I haven't had to make too many adjustments, and I think we'll be pretty good.
Okay. For the players, I ask this of every team. For both of you guys, what's the one team, the one rival that you guys as Bessemer Academy players look forward to playing every year? And I think I know the answer, but I want to hear you guys say it.
Tuscaloosa Academy. I look forward to playing them every year.
Yeah, that's going to have to be the same with me.
All right. For the players, who's looking at you guys right now? What's your you got some commitments, or y'all where you headed after this?
I don't know right now. I don't have any offers at this point.
I don't have any either. So looking forward to getting some.
You will by the end of the year. Coach is really good about that. So, Coach, tell us about the kicking game. Did your kicker? Jay has been with you for several years. Is he back with you, or did he graduate this year?
Well, Jay's at Miles. He signed with Miles 2 years ago, and last year.
That's right, 2 years ago. Sorry about that.
Jackson Stewart actually had some about 5 offers, and he just decided to go on to UAH and pursue his his degree. But this year, we kind of CJ Batay's kicking and Charlie Adcock on extra points, and Dylan Lee is punting for us, and he is doing an absolutely great job right now. He has been a big surprise. I think he averaged right at 40 yards last week on 4 punts. So it's been very surprising, but he's really kicking the ball well.
For the players, you guys come from a historic championship teams. I mean, I was just looking at the list of championships over the years, and more than I can count right now. Is there any pressure on you guys to step up and bring that ring back home again next year or this year?
It's not as much pressure because we've kind of taken the mindset of that we're not state champions anymore. Last year's in the past, and it'd be really great to go for back-to-back, but we have to focus on this year and not really in the past. So I don't think it's any pressure.
Yeah, we like to start from the beginning, so we come up and have our peak and try to do our best.
Coach, in the last few, Bessemer Academy has always been a power in AISA, but in the last few years in Division 3A in particular, it's pretty much been you guys and everybody else has also ran. I know you had one 1-point loss last year during the regular season, but what team in your division stands the biggest chance of being a roadblock for you both during the regular season and on the road to the state championship?
Well, this Friday night we played Glenwood, who we played last year in a state championship game, and they've got 23 seniors. They got a lot of returning guys. It'll be a great challenge for us. Last week we scrimmaged Pike, who has tremendous talent. They are big. They picked up a lot of kids from a lot of schools around there that that were playing at those schools. Monroe Academy is always going to be in the mix. They got another good team this year. Tuscaloosa Academy seems to always be there. Kind of a thorn in our side the last couple of years, but it's we got a couple new region games. Clark Prep out of Grove Hill. I don't know much about them, but they're new to our region, and then we'll have Morgan out of Selma. So our region alignment has changed a little bit, but we're mostly still playing a lot of the familiar opponents.
Coach, I've asked this before, going all the way back to when Mark Freeman was the coach there. I'll ask it again, and I realize this may be something that the administration at Bessemer Academy would answer better, but I want to hear your opinion. Would it be a good thing for Bessemer Academy to leave AISA and move over to the AHSAA?
Well, that's been talked about many a times, but the problem we've always came up with is the our what do you call it, zone.
Yes.
And zone for the city of Bessemer. Well, hardly any of we don't have many kids from Bessemer. So every kid that would come in here would have to sit out a year. And that we would just, if we were Jefferson County or if our lines were different, it would be, a lot more feasible for us. But for, right now, it's just, we've looked into it. We would be a 1A or 2A, which I know we would compete very, very well in. And, but then again, like I said, it would not be, we wouldn't be as accessible, I'm talking about, to kids that want to come here. And that's just kind of what we're in right now.
But basically, you would be restricted from just having kids in the Bessemer city limits, given where you're located right now. You would actually have to move the school outside the city limits into unincorporated Jefferson County to make it even feasible.
Correct.
Okay.
Coach, a lot of your boys go both ways. Tell us a little bit about, or maybe this was a question for the players, tell us about some of the special training you guys do to be able to play Ironman football.
Well, the other night we played 12-minute quarters without the heat timeout. So Jacob, I don't think Jacob came out for three plays the entire game. So he was pretty gassed, but you want to talk about it?
I mean, it's tough, but I really want to play. So pushing through it, that's not a struggle when you got the mindset that you don't want to come out.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, Coach Josh Wright, to your players for joining us from Bessemer Academy. We commend what you all are doing. There's a great foundation for these young men that are playing football, and good luck to you in your AISA 2020 football season.
Thank you, Jay, and thank y'all guys for having us.
Hey, thank you so much, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you being on. Well, we're going to go to Class 6A right now with Gardendale High School, the Gardendale Rockets. Coach Chad Ease, are you there, Coach? You got to turn your mic on. Virtual media, it'll do it to you.
There we go. That's why you have young coaches around.
There you go, Coach. We're glad to have you on this morning, and it's been a good time on here for the past few hours talking to high schools across the area. Here's our media with us here, Robert Carter from Birmingham Watch. We also have Seth Holloway from the Cutoff News. Jeff Spiegel from ABC 3340 might chime in and some other TV stations here shortly, but we'll go ahead and roll to some questions now for you.
Hey, Coach, good to see you again. Thanks for getting in here. Kind of the last-minute situation we got you in. As I've said to all the other teams, it's a season like no other with COVID-19 looming large over everything we do. You've been coaching for quite a while now. I'm sure you're doing some things that you never even thought of having to do as part of preparations for a new season. Tell me some of the stranger things that you've had to do to get the Rockets ready, but more importantly, to keep the players and your staff safe.
Yeah, and one of the main focuses always of coaches is the safety of their team. But, we've always thought of that as injuries on the field and trying to make sure we practice the correct way and there's water and all those things. And now we've got a whole different world of making sure the building's clean, making sure, with the mask and, and for teenage boys, they're all invincible and trying to convince them of how important that is. I feel like I've said, put your mask on about 8 million times this summer and in August. There's a lot of strange things. I was just telling these guys here, I've done very little. I feel like I've done very little football coaching this summer. I've done a lot of Lysol spraying and mopping and all those kind of things. But, I kind of leave the building. I come in the building in the morning and I walk through with something to spray. And when I leave in the afternoon, I'm usually the last one to leave. I walk out also spraying something. So I kind of come in and leave with a disinfectant in my hand.
A lot of changes, some late schedule changes for many teams because they've had to quarantine or had other issues where they've had to cancel or rearrange games. Any last minute changes for the Rockets?
Well, we were originally, our second game, the August 28th game was, we were going to Calhoun, Georgia, play Calhoun High School. And that game was with Georgia moving their season 2 weeks up. That game was canceled and we picked up Smith Station during that second game for us. We'll go to them.
Coach, tell us who you got there sitting behind you. Looks like they're about 6 feet behind properly.
Yeah, they are. We're keeping apart right here, but I was just telling them Kenny over my right shoulder, Kenneth McShann is a linebacker. He's a senior. And on the other side is Brendan Pickens, a wide receiver, also a senior. And I know that Brendan has had to block Kenny and Kenny has tackled Brendan. But now we're sitting here having to be 6 feet apart. Both these guys are seniors, mean a lot to me personally. They've been here. They've been playing since I came here. And I guess they were going into their sophomore year when I got here. But both of them mean a lot to me personally and to my family, but they mean a lot to our football team as leaders and just what they do for us as a school.
Coach, most of us know this guy, but tell us about your quarterback.
Oh, he's a great young man, first of all. Very, very humble, very talented, got an exceptional arm. Maybe the most humble kid I've ever been around, and almost humble to a fault and gives a lot of credit to all the other guys. And I think he makes us better at wide receivers. We're pretty young at receivers other than Brendan, and we're, and it makes them improve. I think some of it is young players trying to impress a senior quarterback, and then just the ball he throws and how quick the ball gets on them has made them improve faster. And, he does a lot for us offensively, not just the what he can do physically, but the mental part of the game, getting us in the correct play, calling protections, and there's just so many things we can do that we can do with him.
And Will Crowder is one of the hardest throwing quarterbacks I've seen in the high school ranks, and headed for West Virginia. That is a hard commit, right? He hadn't changed on anything.
He has not changed his mind. I think he's a Mountaineer through and through, and I think he just really I think he had a relationship with Coach Brown from when he was at Troy, and that just carried over at West Virginia. And I think he's as long as West Virginia doesn't change their mind, I know he's a type of kid. He's going to make a commitment and stay with it. And he put a lot of thought and prayer into that, and it was a lot of discussion with his family and with the coaching staff, and he wanted to make sure he was ready for it, and that was a place he would go and stay.
Well, you got a good coach up there, Travis Trickett, also. That's
we're pretty good up there.
Yeah, I know Travis very well, Coach.
Well, I think their offense fits him. I mean, what they do on offense and what they want to do is a perfect fit for him, and he's kind of a country boy too. He can go up and live in the mountains and have a good life.
That sounds like Crowder.
Coach, a little bit different region lineup this year. In particular, your friends just to the north, who will be playing you in a game that really means something for the first time in quite some time. It's the first time that Mortimer Jordan and Gardendale have been in the same class in quite a few years. Yes, all region games are big. Some are bigger than others. How good does it feel to have that rivalry game as part of your region?
Well, it does. I think it brings some excitement to this side of Birmingham. I know there's not a lot of rivalries that are just up on this side. I mean, I know we think of Pinson and Clay as being, those are big games and rivals, but it's different communities, and we blend over so much here, and a lot of the kids know each other from each school, and there's so many connections between Gardendale and Mortimer Jordan. I'm excited about it. I don't have any history coaching against them, but I'm excited about them being in our region. I think it adds some excitement, not only around here. I'm sure it's doing it in their school also.
Coach, tell us about your running back and your wide receiver package this year.
All right. Well, our starting running back is LT Sanders. He's a returner from last year. He'll be a junior this year. I'm very excited about him. I think he's one of the better backs in the state right now. He can do a lot of things, catching the ball out of the backfield. He's there's things he sees in the running game that you can't coach. He just does it naturally. We're still working on his pass protection a little bit, so making sure that's the third part of his game that comes along. And he's a physical back. He's gained some weight this year, and he's learning how to be a really good back as far as staying on double teams. And I think he grew up his whole life being the best athlete on the field, and he just outran people and ran to all the open grass, and now he's learning how to truly be a back. And then our receiver core is young in experience or young in age. A lot of these guys will be on the field in a meaningful part for the first time. I think they're a very mentally tough group of kids. It's probably the one position that's got some depth, and that's been good for us as coaches, because I remind them just about every day. Brendan knows this, that hey, if you come out and you're lazy that day, there's another guy just like you we can replace you with, and I think we keep doing that, and they keep building off of each other's success. And if there's an injury, there's somebody else who can step in. And I think when the game kicks off, we got to put our first group out there, and then those others who are not in that group, they've got to be ready to go, because there's going to be they're going to be called on pretty quickly.
Coach, this is for the players. You guys are moving into a new region this year. Any teams that y'all have been looking forward to playing? What's your biggest, I guess my biggest question is, who's the rivalry? Who's that one team that you guys are looking forward to playing against?
Well, in our region, there's no slouches. There are no bad teams in our region, and we don't like to overlook teams, but we all know we have big games, the Pinson, the Clays, the Mortimer Jordans that you talked about. But we just really excited to play all of them. This year is going to be really tough for us, and we're going to play hard against every team, not really overlooking any team. So,
yeah, I think.
Do you have one favorite?
I had to say a favorite. I go with Mortimer Jordan, just because we know players from that school and just grew up in the same communities.
What about you?
I'd have to say just about the same thing. I think we're excited to play all the new names on our list, and I think we're definitely excited to play Mormon Jordan and still have our rivals like Clay and Pinson.
Cool. Any coach, or this is for the players, I guess. You have any commitments? Looking, tell us what about the future for you guys.
Go ahead, Kenny.
For us, as far as the future, I mean, I guess you could say it's a lot of players on the team that are kind of young, and going forward, we're just trying to train up the young guys to be better. And
no, I mean for you, for your future. Yeah, you.
Kenny doesn't talk about himself very much.
I'm going to the Naval Academy. Yes, sir. I'm committed to play football there, and
oh, nice.
I'm excited to go to the school. I guess we could say they're kind of like the LBU of the college world, and
Annapolis.
Really nice coaches there. They're really nice people and really nice campus, and I'm just really excited to go up there.
I've been to that stadium twice, so it's a fun place to play ball.
Yes, sir.
And what about you?
I don't have any offers as of right now, but I am looking forward to the season and seeing how things go, and then see where I stand at the end.
Yeah, Brendan has the best commitment in the world. He's committed to stay and to be the great young man that he's always been. Right. I'm proud of Kenny and his commitment. Not, there's several guys on the team. We're fortunate right now to have several guys with commitments. Justin Parks with Arkansas State and Will Crowder we talked about. But I'm excited. I appreciate the way they've handled it, and I know our first game against Sparkman, I believe the quarterback there is an Army commitment, so it'll be the first Army-Navy game of the year.
Oh, wow.
And hopefully those two guys get to go on and have 4 great years against each other, and hope Kenny wins the majority of them. And but it's been fun going through the recruiting with these guys. It's very stressful on them, and it gets stressful for the coaching staff. But these guys have done a great job, and and I'm proud of the way they've handled it.
Yeah, that was my next question, Coach. Was what other commitments do you have, or looks? And the last question I have for you is what. Well, 2 questions. What's one player that kind of stepped up this year that we've never heard of, that you just didn't expect to step up in the summer, that we might be looking at this fall?
I think there's 2. One is Brendan Pickens. I was reminding him a few days ago my first spring here. They threw a ball to him and it went through his hands, and I said, hey, listen, we got to keep getting stronger, and we got to. Your hands got to get stronger. Just got to keep doing those things, keep getting better. You're working hard. And he said, well, Coach, it's been a long time since I played football. So that was just 2 short years ago. And now he's going to be on the field a lot for us this year. So I'm, as equally as proud as I am of the guys that have been around starting for all these times. Just as, Brendan has worked very hard in the weight rooms, changed his body, gotten bigger and stronger. And and all that work's going to pay off this year. And I think for us on defense, a couple of guys come to mind. Dallas Young is a young corner. He'll just be a sophomore, but he's worked all off season, even during the break, just off on his own. And he came back. He's bigger, and he's put himself in position to really help us. And then there's a defensive lineman, Caleb Harrell. Caleb's kind of bounced around between offensive line and defensive line, but he's had a good off season and put himself in position to get on the field.
Coach, my last question is, and I don't want to bring up past, but Mountain Brook by 3 points, Muscle Shoals by 3 points. What have you done in the offseason to secure your kicking game and maybe be able to make that a little bit closer, a tie game or even a win?
Yeah, well, we have a new kicker this year. He did some kicking last year for us, but Kobe Thomas is that we do all of our place kicking. He's had a really good off season, and Kobe's turning into a weapon for us that we can start thinking about those points as we're moving down the field. In those games, I look back and I think those are the 2 disappointing games in the season, because we got to find a way to finish those games off. And some of that comes from being young. Some of that, realizing that there's, we put a lot on those plays, but you go back in the game earlier, there were missed tackles and missed blocks, things that happened earlier in the game that at the end of those games never happened. The big catch for in the Muscle Shoals game that put them in position for a field goal. If we do some things earlier, that's a catch late in the game, and we're ahead, and it doesn't matter, And I think we just got to realize that those just making those plays early in the game that doesn't make those end plays so important.
So you're pulling in a new kicker this year. You feel pretty confident about that, maybe having an extra weapon in your back pocket that might be able to put you over the edge at the end of the game?
I think so. I mean, he's improved a ton. Our kicker from last year, Landon Herbert, graduated, and then Kobe was our backup and did some things for us. But he's really, I think, had a good offseason. I got a lot of faith in him from just seeing him out on the field every day with us.
What about return game? What's that looking like for you?
The return game?
Yeah.
It'll be Derek Carter's a corner for us. It'll be a returner. LT Sanders will do some returning. I'm excited about our special teams. We spent a lot of time this summer, kind of devoted some days. Our morning practices were devoted to that. That's an area I think that also in those games where it gets down close, I think that's where the difference can be made. I've coached a long time, and we always say that. And I just made a commitment this year to use our morning practice as a special teams practice, and we work through all the different parts of it. So I'm hoping that work pays off, and our players see that effort pay off.
Yeah, that's why I was asking about special teams, because a lot of high school coaches forget about that part of the game, but it could be a very important part of the game.
So one of our coaches, who's also my son, he was a specialist in college, so it reminds me every day that we've got a lot of work to do in that area.
Well, Seth, we need to wrap up right now. Coach, thank you so much for your time getting on with the Gardendale Rockets. I want to tell you, I had to call Stan Hoagland to get your phone number. Mayor of Gardendale.
A lot of people.
I say he got to be important, but Coach, good luck to you all. I think very highly of your program, and Will Crowder, my son, are good friends.
Yeah,
Roberson, and I'm just glad to see you all moving forward. And good luck to you, the Rockets, this season.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate you guys doing this.
And it's all about those two young men behind you, Coach. So
that's right.
Thank you so much, and good luck to you guys this season.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. At this time, we'll segue into Leeds High School on the 2020 Virtual High School Football Media Days. At this time, Coach has been around the ranks, a lot of different high schools in the area. Coach Jerry Hood is here on with us now from Leeds High School. Thank you, Coach, for being with us. The media we have that's joining us right now is Seth Holloway from Cutoff News. We also have Robert Carter from the Birmingham Watch, who had some technical difficulties, back with us now.
What did I miss?
No, you didn't miss much at all. Just a long conversation, Coach, with Coach Eads. And just to let you know, Coach, we've got Fox 6, all our media, CBS 42, ABC 3340. They're taking recordings off of this actual broadcast. So we're being covered by everyone today. And I'm going to turn it over to the media now for questions and comments.
Coach, good to see you again. Second year at Leeds. How are things shaping up?
Well, we're really excited out here. We've got a lot more kids playing. Obviously, we're a year older. We only lost 4 seniors off of last year's team, which is an indicator of the participation level that time. So we feel good about the increased participation. Our kids are 1 year older, 1 year stronger. And I think we've had a very good fall camp so far.
So how many more players do you have coming out this year than you had last year?
When I got here, we had 26, and I think we got around 54, 55 today.
In other words, you've doubled.
Well, something like that, yeah.
It's a season like we've never seen before, and hopefully we'll never see again with COVID-19 and everything we're having to avoid any contact with that. What's some of the strangest things that you've had to do during the run-up to this season to keep your players and staff safe?
Well, we've used more hand sanitizer than I've ever seen in my life. We put it in spray bottles, spray their hands when they lift. Anytime we eat, that kind of thing. We try to mask up as much as possible. And the main thing is we don't let them stay in one place for any extended period of time. So we, try to maintain the locker room, spray it down each day, and just, basically take all precautions to help our kids stay safe. But, everybody's in this situation. We have them a few hours a day, and what they do outside of here is very important. So we try to talk to them about just, if you want to play football, you got to watch where you are, watch what you do. But it will affect each and every team in some way or another. We just hope it doesn't affect us enough to shut us down.
Speaking of shutdowns, there's been a lot of adjustments having to be made because of teams that have had quarantines or opted not to play at all. Any last-minute changes in your schedule because of that?
As of today, Leeds will visit Sylacauga on Friday. Coach Zal told me everything's good on his end. But as we know with all this, you just have to stay alert each and every day. So right now, we're in full mode for Sylacauga.
Speaking of changes, a big change and a big step up for the Green Wave. You're in 5A. How much different is that for your program?
Well, I'm not sure, how much real difference it is in our particular region, because Lincoln was already in our region. Moody and St. Clair County right here kind of around us. The difference is going to be those veterans in 5A, Center Point, Corner, Alexandria, those type teams. That will be a learning curve for us as to just how hard you have to play. But with the increased numbers, we're running this team now like a 6 or 7A football team. Everybody's one way. So they're getting a lot better training at their specific skill. And I'm hoping that will pay dividends. But, 4A, 5A, 6A, we're not going backwards in Leeds. The city is growing. A lot of homes being built. It's a wonderful place to be. So I look for us to be in 5A for a little while, and think in the next decade we might even be 6A.
Wouldn't be surprised in the least. Speaking of players, tell us who you got there with you today.
Well, to my left, I have two people here. We'll bring the other one on in just a second. This is DeAndre Oden, a senior left tackle for us, just an outstanding, good Christian young man. Is our president of our leadership council, and is what you want in a young man, and how he lives his life and how he participates on the football field. He is a really nice guy right here, but he is really vicious on the football field. So he's one of my favorites.
I think he's getting a kick out of that.
That's right.
And who else you got with you?
I got Keelan Jones. They told me to wait to bring him in after we talked to DeAndre for a minute.
Let's ask. Yeah, that's right. We've got to keep our social distancing as much as possible.
Yeah.
How for the players? Let me ask him. How much different has it been getting ready for this season with all the changes, with all the social distancing and everything? What's the strangest thing that you've had to adjust to for this season and dealing with the pandemic?
The strangest thing that the whole team had to adjust to is wearing masks, and especially while we're working out and on the practice field, because it can get hot sometimes and we don't want to overheat, and so we just have to keep hydrating and wear our masks to protect one another and those around us.
Okay. What grade are you in or going to be into?
I'm going to be a senior this year.
Senior. Okay.
All right.
Go ahead, Seth.
Well, I was going to ask a question for him because I've been asking the players this all day. What's the one rival team that you're in a new division, you're in a new class? What's the one team that you're looking forward to playing this year?
I'm looking forward to playing Moody because we have been rivals for ever since I can remember, ever since kindergarten. We've been rivals, and we played them in Little League, and we played them last year for a jamboree game. And I'm ready to go back and play them again.
And as a senior, do you have any offers or any looks, commitment, anything going on right now for college?
No offers yet from any coaches, but I have been talking to some coaches, but none have really given me an offer yet.
I'm sure you will by the end of this season.
Thank you. I hope so.
I got a comment for DeAndre. DeAndre, whenever you get ready to run for office, call me, and I would love to be your campaign manager. I know Charles Barkley has had government official, dreams, I think you might beat him to the punch. How's that sound? He's a
Thank
legal
you so
alumni.
much.
Yeah. Keep up the good work. Proud of you.
Thank you.
I think DeAndre can say the word terrible better than Charles can.
I agree too. We got who else do we have here, Coach? Players.
Yeah. All right. So if I can
Thank you, DeAndre.
Yeah, we have a senior linebacker, Keelan Jones. There's really a stalwart player here. Go ahead and pull yourself up if you want to. Really a stalwart player for us. He's also on our leadership council, and just a really tough guy. Last year, we about played him to death. We played him on offense, defense, every special team, and I'm just looking forward to seeing him play 4 quarters like he should at top speed and all that stuff. But this is a wonderful young man as well. They're great people in Leeds. I mean, it's really a really hot place to be.
Keelan, how much different is it this year with everything you had to do to deal with the COVID-19 situation?
It's a little bit tricky because in the weight room we gotta wear masks, and it gets a little hot, and you can't really breathe in the weight room. You know, breathing is it's a very good thing to do when you're working out. And so,
we're all in favor of breathing. Yes. All in favor, say aye.
Yeah, so I like to breathe in the weight room. You know, it's all like wearing a mask is kind of challenging. It's like, we gotta fight with that.
Who are you looking forward to seeing on the field the most this year?
Moody, most definitely Moody. Over here we don't like Moody that much.
We've noticed that.
Yeah, we don't. They're not nice people.
Yeah. Good to have them in the region now, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I'm looking forward to it.
That sounds like a rivalry there, doesn't it, Robert?
It sure does.
Seth,
it's been a rivalry for a long time.
Okay. Seth, you got a question for Keelan?
Yeah, Keelan, where are you, a senior or junior this year?
I'm going to be a senior.
You're going to be a senior. You got any looks or anybody you're talking to yet for college?
Yeah, I talked to some coaches, but not have really pulled the trigger yet. But
Okay. You want to reveal any of that right now, or you want to hold it?
I'll hold it.
Okay. I always like to see where you guys go and like to see y'all prosper in the future. So,
Jerry, any tricks up your sleeve? I know you're not going to reveal too much, but anything different you're doing in your scheme this year than you were last year, if for no other reason than you've got more bodies on the field?
Well, like I mentioned, the most significant change is, the kids playing one side of the ball primarily. There's only a couple of kids that we even work the other side of the ball. So program-wise, over the long haul, I think that's going to be one of our keys to success for the future. That's the way I've always coached. And frankly, I probably didn't do a great job with a two-way player because I've never done it. So that, and, scheme-wise, if you've seen us play over the years, any team that we've coached, we build the scheme around the talent we have. So the talent we have on this team, we've built a particular scheme for that. We'll be very multiple offensively and defensively. We will give a lot of different looks and hope to confuse some folks with different kind of alignments and movements, that kind of thing.
Coach, tell us who you got under center at quarterback this year.
Jared Lato comes back at quarterback. He will be a 10th grader. He started for us last year as a freshman. He's grown. He's going to be a really big kid. And his arm strength, his overall strength has improved. His body has changed. And now he's got really good zip on the ball. And of course, his intelligence has come miles from, you can imagine being 14 years old and fighting all them bullets and trying to learn everything we're trying to teach you. And when you come back, everything slows down. So I've been well pleased with his development. We hired a new offensive coordinator, Jeremiah Millington, and he's done a wonderful job getting him to follow through on his throws. His footwork's better. So I'm looking forward to seeing Jared progress.
And what about your running back and wide receiver core? Give me your names there and what you're looking forward to in them.
Yeah, in the backfield, we have a kid named Demetrius Yelverton that probably he and Jeremiah Hunter and Jamal Jordan will split time back there at the T running back position. And fullback position, Jeremiah Hunter will play there as well, along with Tucker Jones and Tyrone Towns. As far as receivers go, Tucker Jones will be our Y. We have a kid named Josh Ruff, who is a really good athlete at Z, and probably DeMorian Felder will be our X this week. We'll rotate quite a few of those guys in.
And kicking game, what's that looking like this year? Because you know that could be the game, the changer right there. So who you got back there?
Yeah, I heard a little bit of the Gardendale broadcast. I'm not sure that any coaches ever forget about special teams. We know how important that is, but we have a fine kicker in Jackson Arthur. This will be his first year to kick. Has a really strong leg. He was a backup kicker last year going into the 10th grade. He'll handle our place kicking and field goal duties. And then I think right now I would say the punt battle is between Daniel Hood and Jared Latta. But both of them do a fine job.
Any more questions for Coach Jerry Hood and the Leeds High School Green Waves?
Thanks, Jay. No.
All right. Thank you so much, Coach Hood. I appreciate you and your players for joining us today. Good luck to you all this upcoming football season.
Well, thank you very much. All of you, I appreciate you covering high school football very, very much.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate the opportunity. Well,
all right,
guys,
brother. Good to see y'all.
Good to see you too.
All right.
To all that are on
Take
right
care,
now,
Coach.
the media that's joined us, to the viewers that are out there that have watched us via Facebook and YouTube, thank you so much. This has been a labor of love to make sure that young people across the Birmingham, Jefferson County, and Shelby County areas had the opportunity to have a media day. That we are in some unprecedented times, but due to the times that we're in, we want to make sure that these young men and these coaches in our high schools had the opportunity of having a media day to tell about their programs in the 2020 football season. So I want to thank LRY Media. I want to thank Robert Carter, who you saw with Birmingham Watch, a lot of individuals from around the community to help out and make this possible, along with our media partners that were on from Fox 6 to ABC 3340. I know CBS 3042 was chiming in along with NBC 13 and many others, Kyle Parmley, Alec Etheridge, who joined us from Shelby County Reporter, to all our media. Thank you for joining us. This was the inaugural 2020 virtual high school football media days. We're just glad to be a part of this community and to make this a reality for many, many young people in our community. Thank you so much. We look forward to doing more. So chime in and tune in and stay tuned to our Twitter. You can watch the replay of both day one and day two via our Facebook page and also our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a blessed football season. Take care.